And thank you for joining us for session 2 of the Unsung Tales, a One Ring 2nd edition RPG, and here on the Happy Jacks RPG Network. I never know if I should say the One Ring. It's like no, right. A One Ring. To find sessions of this game, visit happyjacks.org/unsungtales. Snip out the for sure on that one. And to find all our shows, you can visit the Happy Jacks Network at happyjacks.org. It's going to be great tonight, everyone. It's going to be awesome. I'm Kimi. I'm your Loremaster for this game. Just a quick reminder, we do have safety tools in place here. We all have X cards that we can use. We also have done lines and veils, which we talked about previously in the last episode. I'm not going to go over them at the top of every episode, but if you're curious about what our lines and veils are, we talked about them last time. And these are my players. Let's start over here.
Hello, I'm Sam. I play Runa, a Barding from Bree, who is a treasure hunter.
Right. And she, her, right?
She, her, yeah.
Hi everyone, I'm Kai. I use he, they, she pronouns, but I am here to play Aerlind of Mithlond, a elf of Lindon, who uses he, him pronouns, and he is off walking the world.
Hi everybody, I'm Jay, and I'm playing Burl Sausage Brandy-bottom, a Hobbit of the Shire, and a messenger at that, who is also adventuring with this ragtag group.
Awesome.
And I'm Kadave, and I'm playing Hannar, a dwarf of Durin's folk, he, him, and he, him.
Fantastic. All right, we have a short recap. We mostly kind of got to know our players last time. We haven't met Sausage yet, so we're going to meet Sausage in a few minutes. But Samantha, do you want to do a quick recap of what happened last time?
Yeah. We did some flashbacks where all of our characters met our patron, Leoren, who we don't know is a wizard. Runa met him on the road to a cave for treasure where he delayed her by pretending to be a weak old man and saved her from a cave-in. Aerlind met Leoren in a tavern when he was doing fortune-telling, and they had a very interesting conversation about wandering the world. And Hannar fell off a bridge and was saved by Leoren's big floofy boy, Ranyar.
Yes.
And then we kind of got into our adventure. The three of us received a message from Sausage inviting us to meet him in Bree. We were very far away.
My bad.
In the forest, which Hannar's not a big fan of. So we took a little travels, and along the way, we herded some sheep. We met some elves. Just the one, really, that we talked to. Narrowly avoided a trap, and saw some crimes.
Yes.
Lots of
is something
Mysterious crimes.
Yeah. There was definitely like kind of a dark cloud over your trip on the road to Bree. There were some bright moments, but there's definitely some weird stuff happening. And yes, you made it to Bree. It's very exciting. I do want to go over a couple rules things before we get started. So last time we were learning the system. Most of us do not have the special die from Free League. So what happens is, one thing we miss doing a lot is you get a special success if you succeed with 6s. So if you get a 6 on your d6, please let me know. Or if you have the actual dice, they have like the fancy little Elvish ruin, the Tangwar, which is like, woohoo, great. I didn't say that right, did I?
No, you did.
Okay.
I'm just curious why it's an L.
I know. I was looking at that too. It's like getting the Elvish
The
character
L in
for L.
Tengwar is silent.
Yeah, but it's like...
And invisible.
I feel like that's like a joke. Like the Free League people is just like, oh, the L, man. That's going to be how they win. It's like, I don't know. Or maybe they thought it looked like a T. I don't know. We're actually you in Elvish, just so you know, Free League. Okay, anyway. I'm sure they'll take it well. No one's watching. Okay, so anyway, if you get a 6 on your d6, please let me know. It doesn't make something a success, but if you get a success, it makes it a better success. Okay? Also, we all have dice that, if they're not the Free League d12s, they are D12s with new Sharpie markers on them to remind us that, hey, if you get the 12, that's the Gandalf rune, that's good. If you get the 11, that's the Sauron eye, that's bad. So those are important things to remember. And remember, if you roll the Sauron eye, it's not a failure, but it does count as a 0. So you don't get to add it to your dice pool total. If you get the Gandalf rune, it's an automatic success. So definitely want that. Okay. I think we're going to do your recap in just a minute. I do want to do first our fatigue from last. Should we do? I feel like we should introduce you first, maybe then.
Sure.
All right, let's introduce you first. Okay.
Okay.
So let's do. Why don't you go ahead and introduce your character and describe what you look like and that a little bit for us?
Oh, sure. So Sausage is a Hobbit of the Shire. He in a past life was a sheriff, so he was one of the sort of peacekeeping / law enforcing folk. One of, I think, one of the 8 that ran around the Shire kind of enforcing the law. He's a stout hobbit, and so he, like other hobbits, he enjoys eating, he enjoys good food, and so he's got kind of a plump figure, a plump face, like rosy cheeks, curly brown hair that wraps all down his all down the side of his head, and a little bit of like a mutton chop kind of long mutton chops kind of down the side of his face. He dresses sort of still in his traditional sheriff garb. He never kind of gave it up, or at least the clothing that he's used to is similar to that which he wore because he's traveling. And as a sheriff, he inherited a dwarven buckler from his mentor, as well as a spear, a long spear that he uses.
And what is the buckler's name?
The buckler's name is Escutcheon.
Escutcheon.
Yeah.
Cool. Does that mean something, or it's just cool?
It's actually a Final Fantasy shield, but also like in plumbing, in plumbing, when you're trying to block off like an old pipe, like if you have a bathtub, there's a little metal plate there. Those things are called escutcheons.
Oh, that's funny.
So it's a little architectural feature. Yeah.
That's very, very Hobbit-like.
Yeah. You didn't know the dwarven name for it, so all right, escutcheon it is.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Fantastic. All right. Now I'd like to do, everyone else last week got kind of their flashback to when they met our patron. So I'd love to have that flashback with you.
Sure.
So when did you meet Laren the fortune teller?
Okay. I'm going to say that Burl met Laren when he was sort of in the last years of his being a sheriff.
Okay.
I was doing my rounds around South Farthing. I'm one of the sheriffs of South Farthing, and I'm kind of at the borders, fringes in the woods, and it's nighttime. It's well after sunset, and I'm actually getting ready to head back home after my rounds, when I hear a little bit of singing in the woods. I think to myself, okay, wait a minute. No self-respecting hobbit would be out here at this time. There's got to be some form of trouble. Either somebody's out there getting drunk in the middle of the woods. Yeah, exactly. or somebody's kind of coming into the Shire, and who knows what they're causing. So kind of sneak down to the ground as low as I can. I start creeping over, and as I'm peeking through the grasses, there's Laren. Just set up a little camp in the woods, some ways off the path, probably to keep out of trouble, keep out of sight, from brigands or bandits. And I'm just watching Laren sing. And the next thing I know, there's a tug at my waist, and as I drop a scutcheon, I drop my spear, and I'm being run through the grass. And the next thing I know, there I am in front of Laren, the fortune teller, who I don't know yet. And there's a large dog. I kind of turn around. There's a large dog that has me by the waist, kind of just dangling.
A massive dog.
Yeah,
too.
exactly. My limbs aren't long enough to reach the ground at this point because Ragnar has got me in their maw. And I just kind of look at Laren, who stopped singing, and stare at me by this point, and I say, "By the power vested in me as a sheriff of South Farthing, I demand to know what your business is in the Shire."
Good evening to you too, Master Hobbit. At the moment, my business is eating my dinner. Would you like to have some? He's got like a
Whoa.
fire going. There's like a pot of very, very good smelling stew, like bubbling on it.
I look Laren in the eye, kind of just give a thumb to the dog.
Oh, don't worry, Ranyar won't eat your portion.
Okay.
He's already eaten.
No, I mean, I do need to be let go eventually, don't I?
Oh, yes. I mean, you should ask Ranyar. I'm not holding you.
Ranyar. All right.
Yes.
So, Ranyar, could you please kindly let me go? And the dog mouth open, I poof into the grass.
So I feel like Ranyar's like, he sits and then he
okay.
sets you down nicely.
Okay, all right.
Like-
Oh, well.
And then like kind of
I tuck my pants back into the back. I tuck my shirt in the back of my pants, make myself look presentable, and I say, "Well, it's very kind of you to offer me something to eat. I've only had first dinner, so second dinner is, I wasn't going to get some until I got home.
Cool.
What? And as a sheriff of the Shire, I suppose I should inspect what it is you're cooking, just to make sure it's, you're not causing any trouble with the food that you're making or anything like that."
I make it my business to get in as little trouble as possible.
Oh, well, that's good to hear.
Yes.
And I will gladly accept a serving of stew.
Yeah. And he's pouring some for you. And Ranyar kind of like sat and wagged his tail and looked at you for a minute and then got bored and very quietly just disappeared back into like the grass.
Wow, just
For
kind of
such-
vanishes from view.
Yeah, not like magic, but like more than like you're used to seeing, like domestic dogs just like, okay, I'm bored. Like he kind of like goes off and then suddenly just like you're not sure where he is.
Okay, all right. I say, well, after I see that,
Mhm.
I kind of turn to Lyra and I say, I was going to caution you about being out here at night because of brigands and all, but I think you and your friend are probably going to be all right.
Oh yes, brigands don't like Ranyar very much, and someone as simple as I have very few things that they'd want to steal.
Well, simple as you may be, you still haven't told me exactly what your business is here. Are you a traveling merchant? Do you offer services? Are you just passing through?
Well, I pass through often. I tell fortunes in different locations. Are you interested in having your fortune told?
I think about that for a moment, like really seriously consider, like, do I want kind of like to know the secrets of the unknown? Because now I'm like beginning to wonder. And I agree. I nod.
Okay.
Like, all right, let's see what you can do.
All right. He comes over and like sit like you're sitting on like a rock or something, and he sits on the ground, but is still higher than you. All right, look up
All right.
as high as you can. All right, now look all the way down. All right. Now turn your head this way. All right. He looks like at your ear, and then he kind of grabs your face and like moves it, and then like looks at your eyes, and you kind of like feel like, you know, in a movie when they do like a rack focus. And
Yeah.
You kind of get that
Yeah.
feeling. You kind of get that for just a second, and then, all right. Well, I hate to tell you, but you're not going to be a sheriff for very much longer. But you'll be fine. Other things will happen.
All right.
You will have many good friendships. And at this part, it kind of sounds like sort of generic, like you'll have good things. Like you're like,
Yeah.
this guy might. You will go on many great adventures, and at this, I don't know how you'd take to that, but you're starting to be like, I think maybe he only gives fortunes to humans who maybe
Yeah,
don't realize
yeah.
that that's a bad thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm surprised about the comment about being a sheriff, like not for much longer, because I thought this was just kind of gonna be my life.
Mhm.
So I take that with a grain of salt.
Okay.
All right. Well, I think to myself, maybe you can tell better fortunes for
Yeah.
the folks
At
in
least
the
I got
Shire.
second dinner out of this.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
And he tells you a couple other kind of like strange random things. Something about like a golden orb. And like, oh, someday you'll see a golden orb, and you best, be wary of such things. and like just kind of like tells you like a few strange things. Oops. Go back and see session 0 for that.
Yeah,
For a little
yeah.
tip back, little callback there. And oh, you should definitely invest in a good loot. Do you have a good loot?
I say, I have an old one that my mom gave me.
Oh.
Little beat up, a little worn,
Yeah.
but
Give it a
plays
good
a good tune.
polish and get some new strings for it. It'll come in handy.
well, that I can do.
Yes. So
Um,
tell me about yourself.
I start with like, oh, well, there's not much really to tell. I'm just one of the sheriffs here. I keep the peace, and
I feel like that's sort of like when it like we get like the pullback of the camera.
Yeah,
And we just kind
yeah.
of like have a
Yeah.
pleasant conversation.
yeah, exactly,
and-
exactly. I
yeah.
end up like, I don't talk about myself. I end up talking about everybody else
Yeah.
that I kind of encountered that night. And the camera pulls away from the woods. You're like laughter and like a little bit of chuckling here and there.
Yeah. So
Yeah, okay.
you totally happened upon Laren when he just happened to be right there in your path in the woods. How convenient. Amazing.
What a coincidence.
Such a coincidence.
Hmm.
Nothing strange about that at all. Okay. So we're going to pick up from last time. We're going to do a little bit of housekeeping before we jump into the story. So the first thing I want to do, and I'm going to go ahead and give you points too, because we'll say that Sausage was off having his own adventure. He was making his way by himself
Right.
from his house to Bree. So also, so you get 3 skill points and 3 adventure points for each session, assuming it's a 3-hour session. And it's like split up, but we're just going to do 3 and 3 each time because that's just easier. So if we end up playing for 2 hours and 45 minutes, it's still 3 and 3 because I don't want to do
Freebie 15 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. We'll just round up. With
Yeah.
So yeah, you can spend that. You can for a new level and a skill, it's 4. So I don't know, you guys can't quite level up yet. And then for a new combat rank in like wisdom or valor, it's like 4. So next time you should be able to get more skills and stuff. But keep count of that. Also, on your sheets, please track our fellowship points. We start out with 6 of them because I just stole Gandalf's stats for later. So you have 6 as a group. So if one person spends one, it's like a
And we
pool.
all
Okay,
Yeah, so you
gotcha.
all have to mark it on your sheet when someone uses it.
Okay.
You are supposed to get permission to use a fellowship point. If you just use it without asking or without like selfishly, you do take 1 shadow.
Oh.
So,
It's not very
Okay.
fellowshipy.
no, it's not very fellowship.
But a delightful mechanic.
Yeah, it's a delightful mechanic. So just kind of be aware of that. And those fellowship points refresh between every session. So you have 6 to use. Most useful thing about them is you can use them to replace hope die or hope points.
Okay.
But it's like 1 for 1. So if you spend 1 fellowship for 1 hope, it's not 1 hope for everybody.
It's one
one
hope
hope
for one
For
person.
1 person.
Whoever
Okay.
spent it. Okay.
Yeah, or not. It doesn't
Oh,
be
you
whoever
can
spends
give it
it.
to somebody else.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, we're gonna spend and like
Yeah.
do that. So
Cool.
be aware of that. It's not like, oh, we all get 1 hope.
I
No.
think you're getting close to despair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please.
Remember, we're all in this together.
Yes. And there's a whole bunch of little notes and stuff. There's also, I want to draw your attention to on your chart where it says shadow. I think that's the first on your cheat sheet.
Mm-hmm.
The cheat sheet I made you. At the bottom, there's now a new little table there that I cut and pasted. Actually, I like glue sticked it in. But that's if you,
Physically cut and paste.
yeah, literally physically cut because I could not figure out how to like digitally cut and paste. So I went back to like my 4th grade teacher skills. So if you do those things on there, that basically means that you are going to, those are called misdeeds, and you can gain shadow by doing those things. So by doing violent threats, malicious lies, or needless cruelty, it's like 1 shadow point, things like that. So like we talked about for Tone in the first session, like you are good people. Like every once in a while you might get into a little mischief. Like, oh, we stole some of Farmer Thing's whatever's on our way through the South Park, whatever it is. But yeah, so you're not malicious. If you act maliciously, then you start getting shadow.
theft doesn't include like picking up things that we find places that don't seem to have an apparent owner.
That's no, like hoards and treasure. You can absolutely take that stuff.
Sure.
If it has a
But like,
clear owner and you're like, I don't know this, and you're like being willfully ignorant about it, then that might start to count as shadow. But
Like-
if you're a true treasure hunter, like looking in ruins and finding old stuff, that's not bad. Otherwise, it's like, oh, all treasure hunters, you're screwed. Good
What about
job.
stealing from bad people?
Like looting people.
No,
No.
like
Like the bandits that were trying to catch people on the
yeah,
road.
if we found a bandit camp, and
Oh,
we're sure they're bandits, and we go in there, and I'm like, I'll just light finger a bunch of stuff and run away.
I feel like that's okay.
Okay.
That's
I don't
not
know.
theft, it's redistribution
Yeah,
of wealth.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of the whole point.
They
of
also
Wanted to make
do
sure
not
we're all on the
technically
same
own it.
page.
If it's
But I
already
don't know
stolen.
if I'm giving it back to the person that it was stolen
Well,
from.
as long as the coins aren't labeled with it.
Note to self.
Stamp every
Stamp
coin.
my name on every coin.
And out Sharpies all over the Shire. Okay.
It's just dog head.
All right. So we had a bunch of fatigue after our travel from last time.
Mhm.
So fatigue. Oh wait, that's the wrong page. That is also there's also a cheat sheet about that on your page 3, I believe. Our journeys. So at the journey's end, travel fatigue doesn't have a lot of problems with it unless you start getting weary because of it, or if you go right into combat. So generally what happens is if we're journeying and we will hit a combat situation, I will stop and we'll be like, okay, this is the end of the journey before we enter combat for survival purposes, mechanically. So adventurers with a mount will reduce their fatigue by the mount's vigor rating. So, yes, your mount, if you are poor or frugal, you have no mount. If you are common, does any of you have common is your wealth level?
Mhm.
Okay, then your mount is worth 1, so you will earn 1 fatigue back. Not that you had fatigue because you weren't here for that, but if you are prosperous, you have a good mount, which is like a very healthy pony. So you earn back 2. And if you are rich, you have a fine mount, and you get to earn back 3. So and I'm gonna say, since we weren't rushing, I'm gonna give you since you're an elf. Okay, I'm gonna give you the 1 back because I feel like with like the endurance and like the health of the elves, like walking alongside a bunch of ponies, like that's not a big deal.
NBD.
Yeah, if we end up ever doing like a force march or something where we're in a hurry or things like
Sure.
that, then I'll be like, eh. But until then, like I don't mind you having, for thematic purposes, a +1 at the end. It's no problem. Because you're the only one with no mount, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Since you're an elf and I love elves, I'm gonna give you special treatment. My favorite tribe. Okay. Rainier.
Actually, the ponies are your favorite children. It's fine.
Yeah, all the animals.
All the animals.
So then our fatigue just gets knocked down by that amount.
By 1, and then wait. Let's see. Adventurers can further reduce fatigue by rolling travel successfully. I believe that. I think that's at the end. Yeah. Yes. So you can all roll travel, removing 1 fatigue point plus 1 for each 6 you roll.
Okay.
But we're also gonna have like a prolonged rest while we're chilling in Bree. Hopefully, I mean, you can or not. Maybe you will turn around and be like, "We're out of here."
I feel like I'm gonna need a nap.
Yeah.
My travel is dreadful.
Well, I succeeded, but I didn't get a 6.
So you remove 1 fatigue point. So if you
Awesome.
succeed, you lose 1 fatigue point.
Okay.
How much fatigue do you guys have left right now?
I'm at 9
I have 7.
Okay.
because I failed.
Also 7.
Okay, we went. It was a long journey.
Yeah.
I also don't carry as much stuff though,
Yeah,
so
that's
it's
true.
fine.
Okay. But we want to make sure we clear that up before, if we enter combat today.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. If you will please write next to somewhere on your character sheet or on the notes or somewhere, the fatigue you lose from your mount. That way I don't have to read that off every time because it makes for super interesting podcasting. Always
Please
stop.
remove 1,
Yes.
2,
Mount
or
review.
3.
Please read the table out loud for the class. And for next time, if everyone's mounted, we have the journey length and calculate. So, just FYI. So basically, you get to do like 2 hexes for 1 day instead of 1 for 1 if we're mounted.
Oh,
Oh, cool. Okay.
that would have been helpful.
Yeah.
Maybe we should go ahead and do that. So go ahead and nap.
No, I mean,
We walked.
legitimately
Okay,
took a walk.
yeah,
We
okay.
made it.
We'll fix it for next time. We'll house roll that a little bit for our elvish legs next time. Yeah. So the next thing, I think that's all actually. I think that's all the.
Now I just envision all these elves, like, they get out to a road and then their leg length, like, double. And they go big strides.
Terrifying.
We're all like, "Whoa."
Just Inspector Gadget
Yeah.
legs everywhere.
And for those of you tuning in, we are changing a few things about our stats from last week. Last week we used the kind of as prescribed, where to get their TN number, they subtracted their attribute from 20. After more reading, I discovered that there is a rule that's actually still in the main rulebook that says if you have a shorter campaign, you might want to subtract from 18 instead. So we went through and we changed that. So we are subtracting from 18. So they will be a little more effective than they were last week. If you are like, well, wait a minute, last week that was, a miss. This week it might be a hit. So FYI. And that is in the rulebook, so you can look that up. You okay? I think we're good. Are we good? I think we're good.
We're great.
Okay.
Fantastic.
We're fantastic. Look at all the rules I did. Okay.
You did so good.
I did so good. All right. I have so much paper right here. Not in camera, but it's amazing.
It's a lot of paper.
It's like very organized though this week. I numbered everything this week. I was not going to make that mistake twice. All right. So the 3 of you are coming up into Bree. Sausage, we're going to say you're in Bree already. So we know we have Runa who lives here. And your family home is here as well.
That's true, yes. And I named my mom and my grandmother.
Excellent.
Even though I'm terrible at naming things, I just picked some out of the book.
Cool.
Thanks, book.
Good job.
So Runa's mom is Valdis of Bree, and her grandmother is Ingrith, also of Bree.
Okay.
Both treasure hunters.
Mm.
Retired.
Yeah. I'm gonna say I think your mom is like semi-retired,
Yeah, she
Like-
probably gets bored a little and
Yeah.
like, still goes out sometimes.
or maybe she like consults.
Treasure consultant.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm writing their names down so I don't forget them. And they are going to be living. So let me just kind of describe Bree to you as you're arriving. So the gates are open all day. Bree has this big hedge wall kind of around it, which it's very known for. There are some big gates. There's also a small gate, which you might know about, Runa, that's up kind of towards the northern arm of the hedge. And mostly it's used by rangers and those of ill repute. But I'm not saying you're of ill repute, but you know about it. Yeah. Most
Dubious repute,
dubious
maybe.
repute, yeah. Most of the people who live in Bree are like laborers and crafters, but it is a big travel hub. So like they are very, despite what it may look like in the Lord of the Rings movies, yeah, it is a welcoming, happy place that is very used to people of all types being there. And there is a large number of hobbits who live in Bree. So it's not this like big people town that hates little halflings. So it's very welcoming. They're used to travelers. At night, they're not really even guards. They're more just kind of like watchers, and they more document. So they'll ask questions of people coming in, but it's not their job to like guard the gates. There's the Reeve, who's kind of like it's not quite a mayor, but they're kind of like the position of leadership in the town. There's also some Bree wardens, and they're the keepers of the peace. They're kind of like beat cops, so they kind of wander around in different sections on foot and just kind of keep track of what's happening. But they're not like a police force exactly. There's the Prancing Pony, which is like the main inn and tavern. It is very well known for in all of Eriador, and it's just called the Pony to locals. And normal tavern atmosphere, but it's not scary or intimidating like in the movie. Like, it's a very friendly place. It's simple and comfortable, and pretty much is known as being like the best place to stay, like west of the last bridge. So other than like Rivendell, like if you come farther this way, it's like the best place to get a bed. And it even has some like rooms on the bottom floor that are smaller size, specifically for hobbits. And there are hobbits actually who are employed there as well. So it's a very hospitable, nice place. And they're really known for their homebrew ales, specifically Barnabas's Best, which is like their best ale. Which in the Splat book it says it's served fresh, and that just sounds disgusting. I don't want any fresh ale ever.
Ew.
I know. I'm like, I don't know, but
What?
I don't want fresh ale ever.
Do you want uncooked bread?
Maybe, I don't know. We'll just nod and smile for that. So yeah, that's kind of the top level of Bree. There's what's called Newtown, which is where most of the houses are. That's going to be where your family lives. Newtown is still called Newtown, even though it's probably over 1,000 years old. Like, it is really old. Bree is maybe one of the old, like, the people of Bree say they are like the first like settlement of men in Middle Earth, and nobody can prove otherwise. The Bree hobbits also are very proud of themselves for saying that they are the first ones to have pipe weed and smoke pipe weed. So they're very proud of that, and it's a little bit of a bone of contention with them and the Shire folk. Just so FYI. So yeah, so the new town, mostly like stone homes. They're kind of built into the hillside a little bit. They're west facing, so they get a little bit more like light in the end of the day. And yeah, one of those is your family home.
Awesome.
All right. So one of the stars and wishes from last time was having a scene at the gate. So for your stars and wishes, do you want it to be at night? So it's like
I don't care what gate.
Okay.
He's gonna be bad at any of them,
Yeah.
so it's
But
good.
you want to be at night where you're like questions?
Maybe a little, but he's not gonna be the one answering the questions, which I think is really funny.
You're causing problems. I think it's great.
It's my job. Be Kai. Here for problems.
All right. So where are you in town? Oh, wait, I have a question first. Have your friends been to your house before?
Ooh, that's a great question.
You've been adventuring for a while. Bree is kind of like a central hub of the area. But like, it's totally fine if you want to say we always meet at the Pony, they never come home, or maybe they always stay at your house. I don't know. It's up to you.
I feel like they would have been to her house before.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you let them stay there, or do they just come visit and they stay at the Pony, or...
Her family is prosperous, so I imagine they have some extra room. So yeah, let's say they stay in the guest rooms.
Okay. If you're comfortable with that, obviously. You have the option.
I think Aerlind, at least the first time, would have insisted on, no, I can get a room.
Okay.
Wanting to not impose, and then like seeing the house and be like, okay, maybe I don't need a room.
Right. Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
All right, so would you have stayed with there before? Like,
Yeah,
with the offer?
I'm going to say that I've accepted your hospitality before, but I'm also going to say that I'd been to Bree enough that I'd kind of gotten to know the Hobbit like division of the constabulary over there.
Okay.
And I got cheese from them, and every once in a while when I go back to Bree, I have Cheese visit his sister Cheddar, who's also one of like the town horses, you know, like working with the constabulary, like right around with that. So
Okay.
sometimes they let me couch surf there, but sometimes I gladly accept an invite to a better room. You know?
Very nice. Yeah, just clarifying, cheese is his little pony.
Yeah, my
But probably also actual edible cheese.
Yeah, I'm sure, yes. And Hannar.
I think I would totally stay there. I think I probably have a drawer. Like, like as soon as I was invited, I was like, "Oh, how convenient! A bureau!" And I started putting things in there, and then I just was like, "I'll be back."
Okay, awesome. Absolutely.
I feel like Runa's grandmother thinks that is hilarious.
Yes.
But it's just like it's all the like clothing stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like just some colorful shirts and various things like that. More than like I haven't stored armor and weapons.
Hannar's party clothes.
Yeah. Awesome.
The stuff I'd wear when we're not going on the road,
Mm-hmm.
as compared to. I'm very quiet again. That's better. As compared to like I'm not gonna wear a nice shirt to go adventuring. Like
Mhm.
that's just a recipe for dry cleaning bills.
It's me. Hello, I'm Jack Bills.
I feel like that's a requirement of an elf, though. You always have to look nice.
Yes, I wear white everywhere I go. Not joking.
It works. All right. Very good. So, where are you then in Bree?
I'll say that I think this time around, if it's all right, I'll be at your family home.
They'd welcome you in even if I wasn't there.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
I'm gonna say Valdis, your mother. Did I
Mhm.
say that right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Is off, like not sure where. But Ingrid is there.
Okay.
And what does Ingrid like to do? Which can I make up stuff about her? Is
Yeah,
that
go
okay?
for it.
Okay, so Ingrid was an adventurer her whole life, and in her older age, she's decided she loves to cook. Unfortunately, she's never become good at it. So her favorite thing is to make these beautiful, giant, home-cooked meals anytime anybody comes over. And it is edible. It's not,
I love
Yeah.
it. So
yeah,
much.
it's not terrible.
Yeah.
But it's not good either. So it is sustaining. If you were in like the forest somewhere and hadn't eaten for 3 days, it'd be amazing. But you're in Bree, and the pony who has amazing food is like down the road. Not very
Yeah,
far,
delicious
like,
scents are just like
stumbling
hitting our
distance.
nostrils
Yeah.
as we
Ingrid.
walk through.
Cram?
Yes. But she has amazing taste in beers and wines, and there's always a lot of great things to imbibe when you're at this home. And
If you drink
So-
first,
exactly.
the food tastes better.
Unless
You
you're
know,
me.
yes. A lot of people do tend to drink their dinners when they come over. And Ranier has sometimes been here. Ranier will sometimes go with you and then come back. Ranier is a big fan of the food. So
And he gets a lot of it.
yeah.
Weird.
Laren's been here once or twice, but your grandmother and mother don't really remember him very well.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Mm.
Rude.
This is becoming ominous.
terribly oh yeah. Oh, what was his name again? Just not
He
in,
knows Ranyar.
yeah. Oh, that's right.
He's Ranyar's
They
friend.
definitely remember Ranyar
Yeah.
very well. Which one of your friends owns Ranyar? It's no one owns Ranyar owns Ranyar.
Own independent dog.
Yeah. But it's not they kind of remember he was here, but not his name. What? The tall one with
The guy with the
stick?
hair and the stick.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. So what's his name? That sort of
Yeah.
thing. So it might just be old age.
Maybe.
Yes. So anyway, you have been welcome. Ingrid is very excited you're there.
Yeah.
And we're gonna say you've been there probably for a day or so.
I was thinking maybe a couple of days. It's gotten to the point where I've had the customary first meal, and it's gotten to the point where I've offered to cook. Can I either help Ingrid or be oh well, thanks for the hospitality. Let me cook you a meal. Just to kind of improve the quality of the food.
She's probably let you do that some.
Yeah.
But she's also
Sure.
likes doing it.
Proud of her accomplishment.
Yeah, exactly. And very excited that you being here means that her granddaughter's coming back. She's
Yeah.
going to see Runa soon.
Yeah.
But also Runa's friends are probably coming too. More people to cook for.
Mm.
She also really loves hearing your stories. there's like a part of her that's very whimsical about her days of adventuring and loves to kind of vicariously live through your stories a bit.
I
So,
definitely picture brain.
oh yeah, absolutely. And she loves telling you stories too. Just like there was this time, and she like will tell you of, things that like if you didn't know Runa, you'd be like, oh, this is definitely a made up story. But you're like, nope, that's Runa's grandma. Yeah, that totally makes sense. And just like the strangest things, like climbing cliffs and hanging from like stalactites and
How are the race of men alive?
nobody knows.
Family is just a long line of beautiful disasters.
Yeah. Super, yeah. And they all have like very long, like intricately braided hair. And so Ingrid has like long and it's like stark white. It's just like incredible, like detailed braids and like bright blue eyes. And just like moves like she sometimes forgets how old she is. Like her spirit is like able to, and just wants to move more than her body's able. So sometimes she kind of like catches herself on things. She walks around. She has like a cane she uses, but more as much as possible she carries it more than like leans on it.
It's a club.
Yeah, it might have been. Who knows? But so she carries it around, but then every once in a while, like her age kind of catches up with her, and she like leans over a little bit and leans on it when she needs to. Valdis is, when you've seen her, like very similar braids with incredibly long hair, but it's like salt and pepper, with like still a little bit of like, you can tell like a little red left over in places. It's more of like a golden color now. Same like bright blue eyes. Hers are a little bit green, and then just a little bit like a little older, like probably like late 50s, early 60s in there, and she's like just starting to like feel her age a little bit. So she'll move around, and then everyone she'll oh yeah. Okay. That was that time I did. So there's definitely, this is a storied household where if you sit for 5 minutes, you're going to start either telling or being told stories. Like everyone is constantly like speaking of adventure. And all over this house there are like little knickknacks, and some things look like that might be Numenorian treasure. I'm not sure.
Definitely is
It should
Numenorian.
probably be dusted. Does anyone want to dust the Numenorian treasure?
Every time Aerlind
paperweight.
Every time Aerlind comes over, he just like lightly dusts all of the like elven and Numenorian artifacts that are just laying around the house. He's like, it's fine, they can stay here. I just want them to be clean.
Yeah, exactly. And some things that you probably know are like, that's total junk.
Yeah.
It's pretty.
Yeah.
That's junk.
That's
Yeah, things like that. So there's just like this, like, and like pictures on the walls and maps. I feel like there's a lot of old maps,
Lots of maps.
like hung all over the place and things like that. I am going to give you, they do have a lot of old books and things too. If you make a lore roll while you are here in Bree and you're using like Runa's family archives and knowledge, you get a +1 to a lore roll.
Awesome.
So +1 die. So make a note of that somewhere. But that's all, not just for being able to actually specifically be using the library or artifacts or maps that are in this home. And there's a lot of them. There's a lot. They're not organized, but they're here.
Yeah, we don't have a librarian.
No.
I feel like Aerlind probably tries to organize it.
And then he comes back and it's all wrong.
Yeah.
He's like, you know what? It's sure. Someone's using it.
Yeah.
So good for them.
I sorted these books by the color.
Yeah.
I leave actually.
Oh, like modern farmhouse garbage. You're just like, oh, God.
Ingrid probably has the maps organized by like places she likes to go the best.
Oh yeah.
It's like, oh, I like this one the best. Put that one on top.
Best map maker story.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. So you've been there for a couple of days. Yeah. Have you gone down to the pony to eat? She's not there all the time. Like, she's still very active in the community and things like that.
Yeah.
So she's not there cooking for you, waiting for you to come all the time.
Yeah. I'm gonna say that I've like met with my Hobbit folk over at the pony, and it's not just the Hobbit constabulary. Like, I've kind of made contacts with everybody else there too. So just we kind of talk shop. I'm like, oh, how are how's the trade going on around here in town? And so yeah, we've hung out at the Prancing Pony and shared drinks. I got my customary pint.
Yeah. So the innkeeper there, and he's also the brewer, is Barnabas Butterbur.
Mhm.
Very well known. He's got a big mustache. Like, he's very well kept, very proud of it. Like, such a good mustache that it even impresses like the dwarven customers who come in. Like, maybe that's why he doesn't. No one's knows, but he definitely gets bigger tips from them because they are impressed by his fine facial hair. And also there's Knob, who's kind of his servant, and he works there with him. Not like servant as like he's an employee.
Yeah, just an employee.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah. Knob is not mentioned in the splat book.
That is
I am upset.
unfair.
Yes. I mean, maybe there's a
Excuse me?
specific Bree splat book that I don't have, but he's not in the main book, and I'm sad about that. Anyway, so you probably know Knob super well.
Yeah.
Barnabas is too. He's not like the creepy, like angry looking guy in the movies. He's very friendly, very well known, and like an amazing brewer, and doesn't serve fresh stuff because that's weird.
Because he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, because he knows what he's doing.
Maybe it's freshly tapped.
Maybe freshly
Yeah,
tapped.
that's what I was
Like
thinking.
there's enough that's served every night that you never get yesterday's.
Tap. Okay, we're gonna go with that.
I like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. That
Right?
makes more sense.
Yeah, I'm hoping that that's what they meant. The way it was phrased, I was like, I don't know. I need to make brewer friends for the league. But yes, we'll go with that. That makes more sense. So I'm sure. So yeah, freshly tapped is what it means by fresh. Okay. So I'm sure you all know all those people. You definitely, because you live there when you're actually home, which is not very often, but often.
Often enough.
Often enough to go to the bar.
Yes.
There's also like this. Bree is a big place. Like there's a lot of moving, coming, going. Elves are not super common, but it's not completely unheard of for an elf to come through. Especially there's some libraries and stuff there that sometimes might, but anywhere else it'd be super strange to see an elf. But Bree's like, that's a little weird, but okay. Like, we know why you're heading that direction. We know why you're going towards the ocean. So, at least some of the people do. So, but mostly good, hardy folk. We're happy to take a coin in exchange for some fair work or food. All right. So you're chilling. The three of you arrive. And what time of day is it?
I feel like we probably get there like late in the day, maybe like dusk. It's not dark yet,
Okay.
but like it's getting there.
Yeah.
We were trucking on that journey, so yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. All right. So it's like the end of the day. How about you get there right as like the sun is setting,
Beautiful.
and so they're like it's beautiful, but also like they're just closing the gates, so that way you get your interaction. So yeah, they're. You see this kind of burly, a little bit like pinched faced looking gentleman. He's like pretty strong and like closing the big gate. And just as you're walking up, oh, hello there.
Hello.
Oh, hello. It's not very often we see elven travelers come through Bree. Welcome.
Thank you, Master Gatekeeper.
Thank you. I'm not the master yet. I'm only apprentice gatekeeper at the moment. But thank you all the same. I like that I give that impression. Runa!
Hello.
Hello! It's nice to see you.
You too.
Your mother left a few days ago.
She did?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
She does that.
often. I worry for your grandmother, and then I remember who she is, and then I stop worrying.
She'll be fine.
Yes. Yes, she can
Worry
take care
for
of
everyone
herself.
else around her.
Yes. But she was at the market buying many ingredients for a large meal.
She probably knows we're coming. Yeah.
He kind of winces, like, oh, he knows.
She just like pulls out a packet of spices. I'm prepared.
Excellent. Yes. Well, I do believe she has a guest. Perhaps that's who you're. Master Dwarf. I apologize.
Hello.
Good to see you. I have forgotten your name. I apologize.
Oh, no worries. I've forgotten yours as well, so we're even.
Right.
Haha. Off we go.
Yeah. I'm Oswald, the apprentice gatekeeper.
Oh, well, I am Hannar.
Yeah, Hannar.
Good to meet you again, Oswald. See, we'll do this every time I return. It'll be like a wonderful meeting on the road,
Perhaps.
each and every time.
Yes, well. You probably meet many more men than I do, than I do dwarves, I mean.
That's
So,
most likely.
You are more likely to not remember my name, which is fine.
Not
But-
to impede your duties,
Yes.
but could we pass through the gate before you seal it?
Oh, yes. Are you just coming home again then, Runa?
Yeah, we'll be here, I don't know, a day or two probably.
Oh. And are they all staying at your home again?
Yes.
All right. It's probably like weird gossip that like all these weird people come to your house all the time. Like,
Yeah.
And it's like your house is weird anyway, so there's like a lot
like,
of
already weird.
Yeah, it's already weird, and like it's the house that like all the kids want to try and get in the like, oh, did you see? There's like a big golden thing that glows on every third Thursday. It just is weird and glows, and so it's like they like will do weird things to try and get your grandma to like invite them in so they can see all the weird stuff. It's kind of like just a little bit of like not like the witch's house in like a neighborhood nowadays, but like kind of that.
It's kind of almost
Yeah.
a rite of passage for like a group of the kids to be like, oh, you got to make your way in there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. They dare each other to do it. And
Yeah,
things like
yeah,
that. So like, and it's been happening long enough that like this guy is probably probably did it when he was a kid.
Yeah,
and now
yeah.
he's like a little bit above middle aged, and it's just like one of those things.
You have to go knock.
Yeah.
You have to go knock. It doesn't count unless you actually knock. You can't just
stand.
stand on the porch.
Yeah, definitely something like that. So yeah, so oh yes, of course. Please this way. Yes.
Thank you.
Good luck and give your best to your grandmother.
I will. Thank you, Oswald.
Oops, I just stole his name from another PC. Oh,
Well,
Bree and I retcon it a little bit. We'll just call him Oscar.
Awesome.
okay.
Oscar.
You might actually run into the other Oswald. The apprentice gatekeeper. He wants to be on camera. He's like, I am Ranyard. Put me on the camera. He's a big floofy dog who's a little sad. All right. I hope that was okay. I couldn't come up with a way since she lives
No,
there.
it was fantastic.
Okay.
No,
I
it
don't
was
have
everything I wanted out
Okay.
of it. I got to stand at the gate.
Awesome.
That's all
Yes.
I care about.
to-
Simple ones.
Yes. All right. And so you are making your way through Bree, and so you're at the house right now?
Yeah, I'll say I'm at the house.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's probably fairly customary for you to head straight to Runa's house and check in there first before deciding to go somewhere else.
Mhm.
But if you wanted to go somewhere else, that is totally fine too.
I think Aerlind's pretty tired. This is a
Yeah, we've
Yeah.
been on the road a long time.
Okay. So we'll say that you head straight to Runa's house.
Does Runa's house have like a stable?
Yes.
Okay,
Well, yeah, we'll say that there's definitely a place
Okay.
to keep the horses.
because that's the only place I'd stop.
Yeah,
other
you
than-
guys, you're pretty rich, so
Yeah.
we'll say that there's
Mhm.
like it's not a full stable since it's like in the city, but there's definitely like a little courtyard with like a shelter where the
little
horses
corral.
stay. Yeah,
a more obvious thing to show everyone how many horses / travelers are in this building.
Yes, exactly. So, yeah. So you make your way and you get to Runa's home. Does your house have a name?
Oh, that's
You-
a good question.
Yeah, well, you can think about it.
Okay.
I'm sure it has some sort of cool name, but you can take a little while to think of it.
Yeah.
So insert cool name here.
Mhm.
TBD.
Yeah, to be determined. Cool name. And
Oh,
You-
can I like describe
Yeah.
what sausage is doing? Well,
Mhm.
okay, so just for funsies, it's dusk, right? So it's getting a little bit cold. So when you approach your house, Runa, just in the front, there's this like little cloaked figure with the hood pulled up over his face so that it's completely shrouded in darkness, smoking this long pipe. It's basically like a little Aragorn.
I love it.
Little
Yes.
Aragorn, like when the hobbits meet Aragorn in the
Good.
front. So it's kind of like a little twist on that. And I'm sitting there like all huddled up, smoking the pipe, right? And like, are you all kind of bedraggled when you approach, or are you all pretty fresh, or?
I feel like it's the end of the day. Like it hasn't been the hardest day. It doesn't sound like, but
Okay.
we're not fresh.
I will say Aerlind always looks fresh, even when he's not.
When you don't feel fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I see you all of a sudden, like, the cloak flies back and everything gets all soft focused, and I look at you all like bright eyed, and you hear the flute playing as the fellowship like
Yeah.
reunites. And then all of a sudden, I kind of just dash first to Runa, and I kind of like almost tackle you down, like wrapping my arms around you. Oh, so good to see you! And I kind of like each give you a turn. And then when I see, my focus, Hannar, I give you like the biggest, kind of like warmest hug of all.
I think I probably do the like you come up and hug, and then I'm like, and then I grab on and
Yeah.
lift you up a little bit,
Yeah.
put you back down, and, like a barrel hug.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I kind of like ask you like about your journeys as we all retire inside.
And Ingrid is going to welcome you with a lot of drink and a meal. I'm gonna say that since you're rich, you even have like a bath available.
Ooh.
Super fancy.
Oh.
I mean, there's only one. You have to like take turns.
yeah.
But yeah. So that's available, and then we can go ahead and have a long rest.
Awesome.
So
Well
I'm sorry, a prolonged rest. It can't be called a long.
I specifically bring every time I come, I bring like something to give to Ingrid.
What did you bring
So
this time?
I think it's the Gulf of Loon, right? Yeah.
Okay.
Salt, sea salt, like
Oh.
people
Ooh.
scoop the water and dry it out
Yeah.
like fleur de salt. Yeah. So it's a little sachet of salt from there, and I explain like, oh, you can use it for your cooking.
Oh,
It's traveled quite some ways.
that is very kind of you. But I don't. Why would you put salt in food?
Well, if a recipe called for it, I've been told that
Oh.
many do.
Oh, I will try this. It
That-
sounds exciting.
That salt actually has a floral quality to it as well.
Excellent.
Oh,
It's actually from my home Gulf.
oh, that's lovely. Do you cook with salt in your food?
Yes.
Oh, well, then I will try it. So, try my hand at elvish cooking with salt.
That was wonderful.
Definitely on the potatoes, grandmother.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes,
With the butter, remember?
yes.
Yeah.
Well, yes. We smash them, put them in a stew. There's lots of ways to
Yes.
eat potatoes.
Boil them, smash them.
Oh, yes, boiling. That's what I do for most things. Boil them.
I know.
But someone
That
recently taught
explains
me.
the texture.
But then someone recently told me you could also like smash them after you boil them, and it changes them. They can become very smushed.
It's true, yes.
And now I will try and put salt on them. It will be glorious and elvish.
Aerlind excuses himself from the room.
Yes, thank you for that lovely gift. And yeah, it is all like Aerlind, it's probably a little grating, but it's also like so just well-meaning and good-hearted.
Yeah.
Like there's not a bit of like, yeah.
I don't think that they're really capable of taking too much offense at
Mhm.
anything anyone says at this point. It just all kind of rolls off
Yeah.
because partly they're kind of an oblivious person.
Mhm.
There's only half of me left.
And the other thing is that like
Little
they're such a magpie.
Uh-huh. Sorry, I totally just kicked the
Oh, I
camera.
know.
I apologize. For the people listening who are like, why did everything get awkward
Yes.
suddenly?
Yes,
Much
better.
Aerlind is a bit of a magpie, so
Mhm.
even the strange interactions, he's like, "Tell me more."
And I feel like Ingrid probably has a very soft spot for you because unlike most of the people of Bree, she has some sort of understanding of like the greatness of the times that were before. Even if she's not like completely knowledgeable about them, she at least has a reverence and respect for them. And she's seen the things that elves have built, which most people in Bree have like maybe seen passing or something like that, but she like has seen it and held some of it. So as much she I think has such a sadness about them leaving, even though she understands why. that she has a very soft spot in her heart probably for you, and she probably finds it a great honor to know you, to
Well,
actually be known by
I think
now.
Aerlind actually brings her tales of the great feats of Bardings and like powerful women of the race of men and like all of these stories that he's taken from everywhere that he travels and all of the interesting like people that they've known their whole life and just examples of other women like her that he wishes would have lived long enough to have these conversations with her.
Yeah, that's amazing. And you'll notice then when you try and like organize the library that there are things added. Like she's trying to write down the stories that you tell her and record them. They're not perfect, but they're definitely like the heart of them is still there. So it's adding to the library as they're organized by color. So let's go ahead and take our prolonged rest. After a night's sleep, adventurers recover all lost endurance points. And none of you are wounded, so that's good. You also gain a single point of hope if they're at 0 hope. Oh, no, none of you are at 0 hope. So, and we actually did it correct last time. You cannot regain, you can't correct fatigue while you're on a journey. So you have to wait till the end of the journey, like we did by accident, correctly this time.
Okay, so our rest, does that get rid of the rest of our fatigue?
Yes, you have no recover all.
It says endurance.
Points.
I think that's if we've taken damage to our endurance.
Right.
Let me double check. Quick.
Seems weird if we still have our fatigue after
a long rest. Yeah.
It might be a thing where like it's a certain number of days. That we
Each
have to-
additional prolonged rest in a sheltered and safe refuge removes 1 point. That's a slow recovery process.
Yeah.
Well, it's like
Yeah,
a
right.
week
Week's
after
rest.
a
Yeah.
20-day journey
That's true.
ish.
Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna say. So do you want to just stay one night? Do you want to stay more nights? What would you like to do?
Refresh my memory again. How like urgent did this message seem?
I don't know. Have you asked Sausage?
No, we haven't.
you probably you probably do ask Sausage like
Yes.
first thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does not seem very urgent. So you have gotten a summons, not a summons, but like a tip,
Yeah.
from Laren.
Yeah.
Laren tends to like sprinkle tips for you, and you're like, oh, I just randomly heard about a thing, and they all kind of know what's happening.
Sure.
Sometimes
okay.
you probably are very forward about, oh, Laren sent me this,
Yeah.
and then sometimes it's like,
Yeah. Let's just meet up.
yeah, well, no, it's
Well.
it's always about something.
Okay. Sure.
But sometimes it's more specific than others. So this time it is that he thinks that you should start heading towards Creek's Crossing.
Okay. All right.
And that's Yam. What's his first name?
McTuber. Oh,
Tuberson.
Tuberson.
Yeah.
there you go.
Tuberson.
Yeah.
The Creek's Crossing mayor. He's more of a reeve, but we'll call him mayor. Could use some help.
Okay. Yeah. I'll relay that.
That's right. You're whining in the back. I want to be in the show.
I want more of the food.
Yeah.
Then yeah, in that case, I'll relay that, and I'll say that I knew it was going to take time for everybody to kind of gather up, and so I assumed that if it had been something urgent, we would have been told. You know what I mean? The tip that I got would have been a little more urgent itself.
Yeah, it actually has a specific date. Like you should be there by, and whatever date it is, right today, it's in about 10 days from now.
Okay, all right. How far is Creek's Crossing from Bree?
That's a
Again,
good
how
question.
did we
We should bring up
establish
the
that?
map and look that up.
Quite far.
You all look like you could use a little bit of a rest.
16?
16? Okay.
Slightly less far. Than
Yes.
Yeah.
But we also determined, because we read the rules, like since you're all mounted / elf, it takes half as much time. So it'd take
Awesome.
8 days to travel there. It'd take 8 days to travel 16 hexes if everybody is mounted / elf.
Unless we roll bad.
I mean, there's
Right.
that. But you're on a road the whole way, I believe.
No.
Right? Oh, no.
No,
you're not.
we are
No.
forging our
Oh,
own
yeah,
path.
you are forging your path. I forgot about that.
And we have to probably take a wide berth around at least some of that.
I counted 16 on a route that goes from here through Hobbiton, up the water, across and up.
Does
Yep.
that go through?
Not going into the orange.
Okay.
Yeah, there's definitely roads through most of the Shire. Or should be.
Yeah. I figured we
yeah.
could take the road to just past Hobbiton and then kind of
Mhm.
turn
Yeah.
northwesterly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind
Along
of what I thought.
Durin.
Skirt around that orangey bit.
Yeah, I mean, you don't
Yeah,
have to, but my thought would be you'd probably go over to Michael Delving, or
Mhm.
there's a road to there,
And then just go through north
and then
through
go
Arthedain.
north. Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, you can also go to Hobbiton. That's fine too. They're 6 of one, half a dozen of some of the other. So
Basically, it's the same count.
Exactly,
It's
yeah.
plus or minus 1.
then there's a road.
So then
But
we probably
remember, you
have
get a-
like 2 days to spend in Bree before we head out.
Probably.
We should make it there. I probably have the worst fatigue, and I have less stuff.
Hmm.
Well, I'd still take the 2 days.
Yeah, for
yeah.
sure. I'm just
Oh,
saying,
yeah.
like, even if I don't recover all of my fatigue, I'll be fine.
Mhm.
Unless
Well,
something
and
really
also
bad
if you
happens.
like plan it right, if you wanted to break it up into multiple journeys, you could do to Hobbiton or to Michael Delving and pause there,
Take
Kind
another
of take a
day.
rest in the middle.
and
Yeah.
then yeah,
That's
so
smart.
that's something
Okay.
you can do as well.
If it looks like we're getting rough.
That's fair. Yeah.
So that was one of the One Ring Discord suggestions in the Loremasters. You can even break it up into multiple little journeys and just have like and it's like, oh, yeah.
And then we get a chance to recover a little bit of
Yeah.
fatigue
Yeah.
in the middle.
Yeah.
That's great.
Especially if
Okay.
like on the road to Bree from where we were last time, from the Dunland Forest, like there wasn't a lot of places to stop. But if you're heading through the Shire, there's a bunch of towns and places like
Yeah.
that you could
makes
have like
sense.
a night rest.
Mhm.
So that makes sense.
Just some farmer comes through and we have like a whole camp set up. He's like, excuse me?
Don't worry about it.
It
We'll be
probably
gone in the
happens.
morning.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean it
yeah.
happens. As long as you're not like messing with the crops, then it's like
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Really
no,
cool.
no. Like, yeah, I harvested all of this wheat so that I could set up my camp.
Yeah.
Do you want it or can I just take it with me? Is it cool? All right,
Yeah.
bye.
We decided to cut down a bunch of your corn so we could like have a campsite. Are you cool with that?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Crop circles.
Runa.
What?
No.
They can tell who was camping. They're like, oh, that looks like a dwarven crop circle.
All right. So yeah, you're spending 2 nights in Bree. Do you want to fill in? Why don't we do like little scenes? We had one scene with Hannar already, so why don't we do little snippet scenes real quick with each of you in your stay in one place? It can be in the home with Runa's
Ingrid?
grandmother, Ingrid. Yes, thank you. I have lots of pages of turning now. With Ingrid, if you wanted to visit somewhere else in town, that's fine. But this will kind of be our montage of our night in Bree, night in Bree. Oh yeah. Sorry, I'm not. That was very off tone for the game. I apologize. Very tired on Monday, but yes, I'm okay with us being silly as players, but or like slapstick as players. But I'd like for us, in the tone of the actual fiction, to be a little silly sometimes, but a little bit more epic fantasy.
Mhm.
Okay. Or we can also just skip that if you don't have interest.
Oh,
in...
I have something I want to do.
Okay, perfect.
I'm also just drawing our path.
That's excellent. Yeah, everyone take a look and make sure that we all agree on the path. We'll have a discussion about it.
Yeah.
But
I'm gonna get us at
Kai,
least.
thank you for bringing your stylus and drawing it as we go.
Of course. I'm gonna get us at least into the dark.
And we'll pop to
I'll,
that if you're
I'll
watching.
erase
live in
the
a second.
old brute.
Oh, great.
All right, so I'm gonna grab a drink real quick.
So we're gonna go by way of Michael Delving, give or take.
Sure. Gives us the most time on a road.
Mm.
You could also stop it. Where's your house now, Sausage?
That is where it is on the map.
Yeah, it's. I think I just kept it where it was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so just north of Michael Delving.
And so everybody can see what we're talking about, I will put the map up.
Yes.
Fabulous.
Awesome.
To be live draw dashed
Mm.
lines. Now this is where the question comes in of, do we want to from Michael Delving head north, northwest, or due west and then turn north?
I think the straightest line would be the most practical. Just kind of
We
skirting
have to,
skirting
yeah.
past that little chunk of
I would
dangerous
say
lands.
aim for EDA, that hex in Arthadane.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
pass through there and then
Bear north to
Yeah, so kind of northwest.
crossing.
And just so we all are clear on the colors on the map, the orangish is like dark lands, so you're more likely to have foes and stuff there. Green is pretty safe. The tan are just wild lands, so it's just a little bit of everything there. And then the impassable terrain is the dark brown. And then the areas that are circled with the red are the much more dangerous, like perilous areas. So the number on the perilous areas is how many encounters you have to have before you can leave them.
Mm-hmm.
So when you enter that land, immediately your journey stops, and you have to have that number of counters before you can restart your journey.
Ooh. Sorry, I'm having an argumentative moment with my tablet.
That's okay. All
Um,
right. So, Runa or Sausage, do you have an idea of what you'd like your moment in our montage to be?
I think Runa probably like does a show and tell with her grandmother, like kind of regales her with her adventures since the last time she's been home, and like shows her the different treasures that she's gotten. And like I feel like her grandmother has climbed that cliff that Hanover came upon her at, where she was climbing it down it, and so she like tells her about that.
Oh, did you see in the very top where I carved my initials and your mother has also carved her initials?
I put mine there too.
Ah, I knew you would. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
That's my girl. So you need to make sure that you someday when you have your daughter, because of course it will be. I mean, of course it will be. That you tell her to put her initials up there too. It's good luck and family tradition.
I will. I will.
Yes. And what's your favorite thing that you showed her from your recent travels?
That's a great question. I feel like she found like a really cool like circlet in like a treasure hoard.
Nice.
That is her favorite. And it has a stone in it that matches her grandmother's eyes.
Lovely. Yeah. She digs that.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna read through the library.
Okay.
I mean, I know that I've taken the first couple of days to kind of hang out with folks, and I know that we're gonna set out again now that everybody's here. We're gonna set out again. So I'm gonna stay kind of close to home and just read through various bits of lore, kind of just learning a little more about the world around me.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what are you looking for? Something specific? Is there something you're really interested in reading?
I want to learn a little more about the lands to the east.
Okay.
Because I haven't been very far east from here, I'm gonna say.
Okay. You mean the things like past Rivendell?
Yeah.
Oh.
If there's anything at all to like kind of learn there, I'm just gonna pour through books, and the first day maybe I'm like leafing through, various books and not really finding much, and I kind of just. I'm the one making a mess of the library, by the way, so you can organize it. I'm the one in this case, and just, every once in a while you kind of poke your head in there, and I'll be like leafing through another pile of books, and I'll just leave the pile.
Yeah.
You find there's not a lot of information.
Yeah.
There's some like old legends that have been written down. There's some information about a place called Rune. And is that right? How do you say that?
Rune.
Okay. Rune and Harad. So those are like, there's like very like mentions of their names, but not very much information. Like those are far to the east. And it seems like they were lost long ago. And those are like some lands that may have fallen to shadow and just kind of like long, long ago. Not so long for you.
No.
A little bit for your birthday. But second age, like a lot of stuff.
Oh,
happen
sure.
there,
Okay.
things like that. So like there's bits of it tied in with like rumors, with some of the legends of like battles from the second age.
Oh, sure.
And things
Yeah.
like that. Like,
No, that certainly piques my interest.
Yeah.
Like when I find that, I kind of just pour over just as much of that as I can.
Okay.
I'll take my meals and I'll bring them to the library and kind of like sup my stew while I pour over notes
Yeah.
and stuff.
Looking over history stuff, there's a lot more just general second age stuff. There's like stories of the last alliance of men and elves
Oh,
and fighting against Sauron, and just basic things like that that are much more, well, they're ancient history to the people here. Like they're still fairly known to most educated people. At least
Yeah.
are aware of them having happened.
Yeah.
Kind of like us and like, I don't know, the Battle of Agincourt. Like,
Oh, sure,
okay,
yeah.
like some people know what that is. Some people are like, I'm sorry, what? And some people are like, I think I heard that at Ren Fair. It's a song, right? A lot of songs, but so things like that. So it's very far in the past to them, but they at least like have a touchstone, even if they don't know everything about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's kind of the equivalent of the knowledge that would be available in these books.
Okay. Cool. No, sounds good. And then I kind of like tuck these little bits of knowledge in my brain to maybe write into a song sometime later.
Yeah, love it. Awesome. You had an idea?
Yeah, it's so cute that you were just in there, because literally the whole time Aerlind keeps on like looking in and be like, no, I'm gonna give Burl his space. He's reading, and I want to make sure that he feels like he can read as much as he wants without me sitting there and just staring over his shoulder, because that's awkward. And everyone has told me that, so I'm just not gonna do it.
I love them so much.
So after you've had your fill, or at least at some point when you're not in the room,
Yeah.
Aerlind wants to go through and find any books or anything. Obviously, gonna go in and organize. That's a later problem. Go in and look for anything that is about how any of the remaining cultures of Middle Earth look to the stars and how they see the passage of time, because for them the stars mean different things, and so it's like, how do they see the world as it moves forward, and take whatever I find and go outside and like sit with my astrolabe and probably some food and a drink, and just kind of soak it all in and live in the moment, but also reading about the thing that I'm very curious about.
Yeah, absolutely. There's tomes from all over. Some of them look like they probably sat in some lost hoard somewhere, like hidden in a ruin forever. And some of them are like, oh, maybe this was
a new book.
Yeah, this was written in Bree, and they bought it from some traveler in the pony or whatever. You see like a whole gamut of beliefs about the stars. Some of the older books are very in line with what you know and what you believe, and even some of them like touch on Elbereth and like things like that, and you see like versions of that in there. Some of them it's like, oh, the stars are just for navigation, and some of them just see it as like something to see in the sky at night. It's just like good luck, or the hobbits tend to use it a little bit like more like entertainment. So they have like a very unique set of constellations that they see. A lot of them are food themed.
Yes,
And
obviously.
and then like domesticated animals. There's like a pony constellation for them. There's we'll say there's the lamb. Yeah, lots of food things. There's the pig and the piglets, and they all kind of go together. And that's what we would know probably as the Big Dipper. So there's like the big one, and then the little ones go off trailing behind her, following her around, and just things like that. You do also see, let's see, there's so that's mostly what you find. Nothing is like. It's probably all stuff you've kind of seen before. The Hobbit information is a little bit more specific than you've seen other places, which makes sense because Bree has a large Hobbit population. Is there anything that like surprises you that you find that you'd like to add to the fiction?
I think that he spends his time and takes special notes about the constellations that the hobbits see, and I think that everywhere that they go, they carry like a parchment that has different star constellation layouts, and it's all the same stars,
yeah.
but it's all the different constellations. So it's like a sheet of vellum that's like
Mm-hmm.
all the elven like actual beliefs that he holds, and then like the next layer is like the things that the dwarves see in the stars, and it's all like the jewels and all the things in the sky. And this one is like a fresh one, and it's all the lambs and the piglets and all that stuff. So I think that's just kind of for his more scholarly pursuit. But I think the thing he spends the most time with is the astral navigation
Mm-hmm.
and sitting with his astrolabe, which is both for that and also for, you know, finding your way to Valinor.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, it's a little special.
it's a little different.
Yeah.
And so just kind of comparing what this text says about navigation that way
Mhm.
versus what I understand the navigation to be for my ships and what I know and what I've taught people that they don't really need to navigate these ships, but I know how to navigate them.
Right. Yeah, for those of you, just a little bit of Tolkien knowledge drop here. The Valar, which are the gods, live in Valinor. Very similar name, sorry. And
You didn't do it.
Yeah. And that basically it's like kind of the Garden of Eden / heaven for the elves. It has been removed from the earth after it was attacked by the Númenóreans. So you cannot reach Valinor just by sailing a ship. You have to be, you know, one of the Eldar and then be on their ships and have that kind of magical ability to go. There are in the fiction a few ring bearers and such who get to go eventually, but most people cannot reach it. So it's not just a matter of will; it's a matter of gotta have the magic. And one thing that you do find while you're looking through, there's it looks like a corner of a map that has been ripped off. It was probably like in some treasure hoard somewhere. It looks like the rest of the map. Actually, it doesn't look like it's been ripped. It looks like the rest of the map has like disintegrated.
Oh, uh-huh.
So this is like all that's left, and it has like a partial combination, which is not familiar to you, and then it has the start of like the beginning of what would probably be a sentence in Elvish, and it says Varda Elentari is the start of that. So which is with a Quenya name for Elbereth, which is strange, and that means it's really
Real old. And reading that, still taking notes and doing all the other things that they're doing, they start to sing. Because you can't not sing the song when you see it. So especially because like it's so peaceful, having spent all of the time doing all of that. So it's just like this beautiful moment of meditation where they're both doing the thing that they've walked away from, the passage away from this world, but also communing with that and having a moment where it's a bit of both.
Awesome, love it. All right. I love like all those little like snippets of role play that happen. I feel like everyone's like, can they play the game already? All right,
We're having fun.
I know
Yeah.
we're having amazing fun.
We're
all
here
right.
for us.
We're here for 100%. All right, so that's going to be your 2 days. You decided you were going to stay for 2 days?
Mhm.
Okay. Just to refresh your mind on the rules, if you wanted, which you do not have to do, you can do a faster march, a forced march, where you make haste. So you take one more point of fatigue each day, but you get to go one extra hex.
No, thank you.
Yeah, no thank you. That sounds
No.
dangerous.
Well, at least for the first leg.
Yeah,
We'll
exactly.
figure
it
So
There we go.
we, after arriving, have lost 2 additional fatigue from staying there for 2 days.
Right.
Yes, after the other fatigue that you lost from your mount / being elf. And then I feel like you lost one more. Oh, and your travel rolls. If you successfully made a successful travel roll.
I have nothing in trouble.
Okay.
I build ship good.
So what do we have right now for fatigue for everyone?
4.
5.
Oh,
7.
that's with the 2 you took off?
Yeah.
Oh,
I've only lost 3.
okay.
I did really good.
Being in a hurry is perilous business.
Yes. All right. It is. All right. So yeah, what would you like to use? So I feel like you've made your map.
We have made our map.
Okay,
Yes.
everyone sees it and is in agreement.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if you can see the map, I've drawn different important locations on it. If you're listening on the podcast, I'm sorry. I'll post a picture or something. So the you can see Runa's home. You can see Sausage's home. Staying at Sausage's home is also an option if you'd like
Totally
to.
an option. Nope. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I will open my doors.
You're like right there, and then the green dots are creeks crossing, and then the ruins are right there, kind of in the where it forks in the river right there. All right. So we're gonna start. I hate that Bree is like right in the middle of a bunch of hexes meeting. It's like a very frustrating.
It is a very dangerous area,
I'm
though.
counting it
Yes.
as 8 hexes to sausages.
Okay. Yes.
Via
So-
road.
We don't.
Via
Count,
road,
we
yes.
don't count the first one though. So we don't count the one Bree is actually in. So
Right.
we start
Right.
counting the next one.
That's
so 1,
where
2,
I started. Yeah, I think.
7, 8. Okay, great. So let's go ahead and start our journey.
So we're technically on this one.
Yes, I would
Yeah,
suggest
that's where we're hitting
that's
the
where
road.
you'd start.
Fabulous.
Don't forget while you're rolling, you get a +1 if you are rolling to be our guide because we are on a road.
Mm-hmm.
Is it for all the rolls, Dave? I don't remember, or is it just for the?
It's
guide?
just the guy.
Okay, I thought it was just. So we got this almost right last time.
You're so close.
So we were actually very, very close. So it won't be a problem today because we have all 4 players. But if we ever are short players again, we have to make sure all the rolls are filled.
Oh.
Which honestly, the dice made it so it didn't matter last time because it didn't once roll on Hunter. It just kept
convenient.
bouncing back and forth between the rolls that we had. So the dice were kind and made our mistake nigh invisible, except I just told everybody. So, okay, so you have these beautiful cards in front of you that were part of the starter deck. On one side, it has the combat stuff, which we might get to, who knows. On the other side are the rolls for travel. They are guide, which is the only thing that nobody can double up on. Hunter, lookout, and scout. Now, if you want to help someone, you may do that, but you spend a hope to do so. So
Okay.
you can spend a hope to help yourself with a die, or you can spend a hope to help someone else with a die. Either way. And so we need to pick our roles. Who would like to be our guide?
I can do that again.
You feel like there is that awkward everyone turns and looks at Runa. Oh, me. Okay, it's me.
You want me to lead again?
I mean,
Okay.
I will if you want me to, but we saw how well that went last
I
time.
have nothing in travel.
neither do
just
I.
to let y'all know.
I think you want to stay on the road,
Yeah.
Aerlind, so
Aerlind will just give you the tour guide version of walking and might not know where they're walking to. Because I have nothing in travel.
sure got a lot of information about different types of trees last time, though.
Yeah. Learned a whole bunch about that. Okay. Then we have who wants to be our lookouts?
I'll take a
I-
look. Or do you want to take a look at it?
I'm quite proficient at lookout. I'm relatively bad at everything else.
Okay. All right.
You guys are welcome to put me in places where I am bad at it. That is totally fine. But I'm saying, as a group of people who have traveled together, you would know that Aerlind is pretty much good at looking and talking, and not a lot else.
It's like
Sure.
Ingrid's cooking. It's like the unspoken, like, oh no.
Awareness, just to let you know, out of all 4 skills in here, awareness is the only thing that I have any pips on.
Okay, so we
But-
can trade it off then.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Okay, all right.
I will attempt to scout.
Okay.
Unless
Okay,
you would
so-
like to be the scout.
Well, are you better at hunting or scouting?
I have a big hot 0 in hunting.
Okay. I
Um,
can fake hunting because I'm strong,
Yes.
but I don't actually know anything about hunting.
Runa is good at hunting. That's the thing I have 2 pips in.
Strength is also my highest target number.
Gotcha.
So it's bad
So-
all around.
So yeah, it's a low target number for me. I just don't have any points in
Yeah.
hunting.
If-
So I run through the forest and I hope to grab something because then it can't get away.
Actually, you know what? if that's the case, if you have some points in hunting, Runa, do you want to take that one and I'll take guide?
Sure.
Because I do have a pretty low, like my target number is pretty doable, I think,
For
for that,
travel.
even though I don't have any pips in travel.
I only have 1 pip in travel, and
Oh, okay.
and heart is my lowest target number, so
Yeah.
it seems okay, but I'm not great at it.
Okay, no, I'll give it a shot.
Okay.
Why not? I mean, we're going to my place.
You get the
so-
Yeah.
+1 for the
Yeah,
road,
okay, I'll
so
invite everybody.
I would have to roll so well to succeed for a travel roll. It's silly.
it should be better now that we are using the 18 minus.
Because we're on a road, I might get us there. But even
Right.
without that, I could not succeed on that roll. It would have to be the one thing that's like, you succeed. No.
Okay.
I love how Aerlind tries to
So-
find the road we're on and misses.
It's not a guide.
All right, so you're guiding.
I'll guide.
You're
Hunting.
hunting. You want to look out?
I can go lookout or scout. Which one do
Which
you
one's
feel?
better? I'm better at scouting.
Okay. Then I will look out because I am decidedly better at lookout.
Perfect.
Beautiful.
Things have been decided
Okay.
after much discussion.
I mean, that's fine. It's good to plan in this
No,
game.
no.
It's very good to plan in this game.
Also, I feel like there's been so many mishaps involved in us being like, no, you go. No, you go. Okay. I'll be the hunter today.
Yeah,
Aerlind
we'll
just
lead into it, yeah.
shoots an arrow, and he's a decent shot with the bow, but like, goodbye, arrow. It's been nice to have you.
Yes. All right. Very good. Okay, so let's go ahead and have our guide make their roll.
Okay, can I burn a hope point on this one?
You do not have to ask me. You can just tell me
Okay.
you were doing so.
In that case, I'll do that. I will be very, very hopeful.
Fellowship points that you have to ask, and I don't get to say yes or no. That's your group
Mm-hmm.
friends there.
Okay, and so rolling as a guide, I'll roll travel. I'm not favored or anything, so I will be doing the.
You get +1 since we're on a road, though.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
all right.
that's
Well,
what he
that's
said.
better then. Okay,
Mm,
that gives me 2 die.
Okay.
So
God.
well, yeah, that gives
would
me
be
my
me as
what is
well.
it? My
Fate
my
die,
fa-
or
yeah,
your
and
feet
then
die,
and then 2 success die. So that's I feel pretty good about that.
Good.
But my
I'm
target
glad.
is 11 though.
Okay. That's
Well,
not
that's
bad.
great.
That's not
this
bad
is,
at all.
This is
That's
why
better.
I'm like, okay. 4, 8. That's a 9. So not great.
No.
Not a success.
Not quite. You know. So what consequences do we pay?
Good try. Good
try.
try.
Yeah,
Good job.
Okay.
This
All right.
road doesn't look quite as familiar as when I was going here just a couple of days ago.
So
There was a storm.
yeah, if successful, the event occurs 3 hexes away. If it fails, the event occurs 2 hexes away. So you make 2. You
Okay.
go 2 hexes.
Coming.
You're all mounted though, right?
Yeah.
We are mounted.
I feel like it says if the journey length is calculated with mounts, half the journey length calculated above. So I feel like you get an extra. Okay, so if it's 16, if everyone's mounted, that makes it 8.
8.
So that just means you get like twice as many a day, hexes a day. Like I'm trying to figure out the math.
Yeah, it should
Yeah.
Yeah,
so-
yeah.
Okay.
So
So instead of 2, you're going to do 4.
Okay.
Because you're mounted, and I'm sure the Discord will tell me if I mess that up. So
that makes sense.
great. It's mathematically, at least it's what it says. It doesn't say you double them, but it's what
Oh, we're
having it is.
Brandywine Bridge.
Excellent.
Yeah, if it's half the distance. Then...
Yeah, then that makes sense. Like, right?
What a safe bridge that nothing bad could ever happen on.
Nothing bad ever happens at the
No.
Brandywine.
Yeah.
We're just notoriously good with bridges. everybody.
Right. No bridges ever burn down when you're around or not
Party
around.
weakness is
Or
brilliant.
dead. Yeah.
None
Every
of
time
us
we
fall
see it in
off
the
of
horizon,
them.
we're like, oh,
Oh,
boy,
no.
okay, hold on.
If one of
All
our
right.
characters dies, we come back with a ranger and favorite enemies.
So I rolled a 1. So the event is happening with our scout.
Ah!
Aha.
Ah,
Oh no, Hannar plus bridge. Not again.
Oh, and I rolled a 5, which is a mishap.
Oh,
course.
good.
Okay, if your fail rolls, you'll add an additional day to the length of the journey. You all take 2 fatigue.
oh,
Oh,
rough.
boy.
If I fail.
No, you all
No,
take 2 fatigue.
We
no
take the
matter
15 no matter what.
Oh.
Okay.
what. But if you fail, then everyone gets 1 more fatigue.
Oh,
It's a good thing we divided
lucky,
up.
lucky, 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 lucky. Here we go.
You can do it.
Oh! Super good.
Oh, yeah.
Yay!
I am the Lord of Scouts.
All right.
I got Gandalf with 2 of the rune 6s.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Extraordinary success.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So-
yeah.
Oh, you were one away from another.
I know. And I got a
there.
5 on my 3rd die. So
Oh, wow.
Dang.
That is amazing. Okay,
that's
that is-
it.
It's
That's
almost
the end of the
highest you
game,
can roll.
everybody.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
So yeah, you
You find
do
the
not-
ring.
Yeah. Weird. That would be the worst mishap ever.
Been around the bridge.
So yeah, opposite of a mishap actually, because that is nearly the best roll you can get, but you're one away from the best roll possible for that roll. So we're actually gonna flip it on its head. It doesn't say this on the table, but whatever. You're all gonna take 1 less fatigue.
Yay.
You take 1 fatigue for going that many squares, and you actually also you find a beautiful meadow where there's like a beautiful stream and like amazing grass for the horses to eat and stuff like that. You don't want horses to eat too much grass because they can get colic because there's too much sugar. But okay, for this purposes of the fiction, they like the grass that's in the meadow. It's pretty.
It's a treat on a
Yes,
trip.
it is.
You can have a little. It's
Don't let it
fine.
eat too much. But, so yeah, and we're actually gonna have your mounts get extra strength from this, so you can take 1 extra point for your mount at the end,
Okay.
just for this one time.
Okay.
It's not forever. So when you subtract the
It's
fatigue
not
at the
magic
end,
grass.
yeah, I'm sorry, you know.
No, it's
yeah.
fine.
That's
The
special
thing that
magic.
Aerlind gets is normally, they're very like put together, and then we see this big beautiful field, and the horses are like, "Ooh, grass," and Aerlind is just like, just really lays down in the grass
Yeah.
and just like, ah.
So we get the cinematic of. I'm sorry. What is your pony's name again?
Amanita.
Amanita. Okay, I'm gonna write that down. And Cheese. Do you have a short name for your horse?
Wadsworth.
Bodsworth. I'm sorry.
Wadsworth.
Right.
Wadsworth.
So
Wadsworth.
Cheese,
What's
Yep,
that horse
Wadsworth.
worth?
Amanita. And
Wadsworth.
with a
W-A-D-S.
W.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you said Bodsworth.
My mouth is called
Wadsworth.
feet.
They do the thing where, like the minute you take
Even
the
when you
saddle.
get a horse, it should be called feet.
Yes.
The Elven
Just
word
in
for
Elvish.
So you do the thing where you like take the saddles off them, and they all immediately like go and they roll to like itch their backs, which is a thing horses totally do every time you take your saddles off them. So we get the image of Aerlind like laying in the grass, and then like in the background all the ponies rolling too. It's like just like everybody relaxing, and it's like a little bit of moonlight. It's just like a perfect little picture. If they had unicorns in Middle Earth, like a unicorn would show up.
Oh.
Because it's so pretty.
Yeah,
But they don't, so sorry.
cowards.
I
Dream
know.
about unicorns, and so we're not sure if we're like real or not.
All right. Okay, next day. Please mark on your character sheets for the extra for your mount for this one journey only. You will recover 1 extra fatigue from your mount because your mount is super happy and in a good mood, and they're gonna do a little trot job tomorrow. All right. Next roll. Are we? What rolls does everyone want? With an E. Roll E with an E.
Oh, do you want to guide again?
You know what? I will give it a shot. At this
Going
point,
to your home.
We're going home, so I should know what I'm doing.
Yes.
I hope so.
You tell those dice that.
Right? Yeah. Narratively, I know what I'm doing.
And we are literally we're like 3 hexes from your home.
Yeah,
4
yeah.
maybe. I'm gonna give you an extra die for that.
Oh, okay.
Aww.
Because
And we're in the boundaries of the boundaries of the
of the
Shire.
Shire. Yeah,
Yeah.
we are in your home zone. So I go ahead and like that'll be a house rule. If we're near your home, like you'll get an extra die if you want to be the guide near your
Awesome.
home.
Okay.
That
That
makes
Makes
sense.
sense.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah,
makes
makes
it
total sense.
possibly a good idea for me to guide after this.
I
Not
Oh,
a good
sure.
idea, but
feel like we'll say you have to be within like 3 hexes of your
yeah,
home.
yeah, yeah.
So
We're almost there.
yeah.
You're the blue dot on the map. Right?
Yes.
Yep.
All right.
Okay. Yeah. Ready?
Wait, let everyone else set on their
that's
rolls.
right. That's right. Yeah.
Shall we stay?
Yeah.
I feel like I can't stop being a scout now.
Now that you're the most successful scout that's ever
I mean,
been.
yeah, you have the chance to be the most successful hunter or the most successful lookout too. No, I kid.
Oh.
I kid.
Go for the trifecta. Except
Okay.
the others, I don't have any 6-sided dice to roll.
All right.
All right. Okay, so here I go. Rolling travel again.
With
So
a-
+1 for the road and then +1 for being close to
Yes.
home, right? Okay, awesome. That means 2
You should-
success dice.
Oh, you should have 3 now, right?
No, I didn't burn a hope point
Oh, okay.
in
got
this
it.
case.
That hope.
But that is a 13.
Okay.
Yay.
Success.
Yay.
So that means you get to go. It would be 3, so we're doubling it, so 6.
Okay.
6 hexes, unless you
Uh.
wanted to stop and chill out at your house and end your journey there, and then start a new journey.
That's a good question. Do we want to... So how many days have we burnt in this case?
You've only been on the road 1. This is our 2nd day.
Oh, this is just the second day.
Yeah, horses
Okay,
and mounts
we've
really.
done... Okay.
things up a lot.
The
I
thing
mean-
is, we didn't rest very long in Bree.
This is what I'm saying. If
Yeah.
you all want to, if you all want to, like, rest at my place and kind of just bear the weird stares, because, hobbits are like, there's sausage bringing in all of those folk again. I guess he's not
Yeah.
going to,
I am Teflon. I am scarecrow.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, no, I'll certainly open
I
my
feel like
doors to
Runa
y'all.
is oblivious to
Yeah.
the social cues of that.
Yeah.
She's like, yes, I am worth staring at. Thank you.
Like, of course you're staring at me.
Yeah, and I'll totally open my doors and fix meals for everybody.
Okay.
And,
Well, let's finish up this
Yeah.
journey roll section. How many? So you got how many spaces? You were gonna get 6.
we're gonna get 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're only using 4, right? 1,
Mhm.
2, 3, 4.
Mm.
Yeah.
Then I'll give you 1 extra fatigue point in exchange for the 2 hexes you didn't use. So
Okay.
take that back.
Fancy.
And if you want to move our giant arrow of where we are
Going.
on the map,
So we
now
only
at Sausage's house.
gain 1 fatigue instead of 2?
Oh, we haven't rolled that part yet.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
right, we
see,
didn't
I
roll
see,
this
I see.
part.
Yeah, we're going
It'll
to.
just be better than.
Yeah.
Got
Okay.
it. Got it.
All right. So let's see. The event target will be. Oh man, this dice really likes 1. So the scout again.
Ah! You dare challenge me, fate?
Oh, and this time it's a 2. Ill choices. If the roll
Hmm.
fails, the target gains 1 shadow point dread.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Golly.
Whoa.
I guess fate does want to challenge me.
Yeah.
Let's see. I still make it,
Okay.
but not nearly as success. I got 1 of the 6-sided runes.
You got a
Okay.
great success.
If that's
Yeah, that helps out with the success. There's it's interesting because you took that long journey and you saw some really disturbing things, like signs of evil people doing evil things along the road. You would not expect that to still be, especially in the Shire. And it's not as blatant, but you still get the uneasy feeling that there are some things here that aren't normally. This is not normally how it is. Especially you, Sausage. Like, this is your home. And the fact that as you're riding along, you kind of see some places where, like, the ground is darker, like maybe there was blood. Like, along the road just seems, like, strange. Like, maybe it's something else, or maybe there is an innocent explanation. But just small things that most people probably don't even notice, but because of your experiences on the road previously on your way to Bree, and because you know this land so
Yeah.
well, just something's slightly off.
Hmm.
Not enough for you to take any shadow points, but enough to be aware of it. And you were going to take 2 fatigue, but because I'm trading you those 2 hexes you're not using, you're only going to take 1 fatigue.
How long do y'all want to stay at my place? You want to spend a couple of nights since we didn't make good time coming here?
I feel like that's probably a good idea since we all still have a decent amount of fatigue.
Yeah.
All right, so travel fatigue. This is the end of the first journey of 2, or 5, or who knows how many you decide to make it.
every hex. We're like,
yeah.
oh, journey's over.
So, yeah.
Time.
So reduce your fatigue by your vigor rating of your mount, which is the number, and you, those of you with mounts have 1 extra for this time. And now please erase that. Don't get that again. And then you each make a travel roll, and you get to remove 1 fatigue plus 1 fatigue for each 6 you get.
If you succeed.
If you succeed, yeah. If you don't succeed, too bad for everything.
Yeah.
I super didn't succeed.
You're great at scouting. You're horrible at prolonged rests.
I think I'm going to spend
So
a hope for my roll so that I
Okay.
might succeed.
That's a good plan.
Kimmy, can I have a bottle?
Yikes.
I
So-
threw mine on the ground.
I very much didn't succeed, and I got the eye.
Oh no!
on my wrist. So I'm bad rester. I've attracted the attention of evil as I sleep.
Oh my god, and I so didn't succeed.
Okay.
I spent a hope, and I still didn't succeed.
Interesting. Well, I'm gonna say that you actually gain 1 fatigue.
Oh.
Just not for failing, but
No.
because you rolled the eye as well. Like that.
We
the
got
stuff
there and I
on-
just had nightmares.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't
I'm
Like
sleep very well.
remembering something.
Unsettling. Okay.
Remembering something I can do. I can spend a hope to just succeed.
Yes, you can.
I would like to do that and recover 1.
Oh yeah.
So instead of
I might have gotten that roll wrong. I think if you spend a hope, you do get an
no,
automatic.
it's for specifically.
Oh, it is.
elves.
Oh, good. For just you. Okay.
It's
I was like, I
me.
remember that.
I could be bad at so many things, but I've lived long enough that I know
Ah.
how to at least compensate for being kind of bad at stuff.
Nice. Okay.
And I will use my what is it actually called?
Elven coolness.
My elven skill.
Mm.
I'm very good at relaxing after a long trip. I'm gonna make sure that that's actually right.
No, yeah. I'm
Probably
fine
for
with it
you.
being the case for right now. So, all right. Did you?
I succeeded.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
You took it off. Okay,
Mhm.
perfect. Any 6s?
No.
Okay. All right. And then if we take a prolonged rest, not a long rest, a prolonged rest, because it has to be different than D&D, then you recover. Oh no, that's for the wrong thing. Sorry. I keep going back to that but it
The
doesn't count.
recovery
for fatigue.
endurance
Yeah.
thing.
Seems like it would work for both, but oh well.
But we do get to knock off like for however many days
Yes.
we stay.
So whatever night, however many days you stay, you get to take off 1 fatigue point.
You guys want to
Okay.
do 2 more days resting?
Trying
You're
to do
ahead of
math.
schedule.
I think at least 2. Yeah. I'm
yeah,
down to
we
3
made
fatigue.
Really good time. So.
Mhm.
I'm at 7 now, but I have breathing room above that because I don't have a lot of stuff. So I could probably do 2 and maybe make it. If I do 3, we'll probably be fine.
Let's do
Three's
3.
fine.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
So we've only taken 2 days.
Like-
We got to be there in 10, so we'll be at 5. That's fine.
After the first night when we got the sausages, the next morning, like clear like
Oh,
giant bags under my head, like
Oh,
a little bit twitchy, like I didn't sleep at all.
Hannar,
Right.
are you all right?
This was a terrible journey. I saw things, many things.
There were grass and
Yes.
horses.
We had a
and-
wonderful stop, and then
Fields?
things went terribly wrong after that.
What did you see?
Every time I tried to rest, I just saw more hauntingly disturbing scenes of the crimes we saw earlier and the just uneasy feeling. Like they have followed me here, walking along the path behind me. I'm,
Oh, we should
Ugh.
certainly take a couple of days then.
yes, I'm very tired.
over the couple of days, I'm gonna go around, just visit my neighbors and ask if there's anything unsettling that's been happening around. And then, like during the first day that I'm out, I'll also bring back a keg of ale for Hannar.
Dave, one of the things you saw in your dream was a ghostly figure like following you on the road. So it was like you were like riding on the road. It was like what you'd experienced, but you in your dream you kept turning around and there was like a ghostly figure who was always just a little bit too far away to make out clearly.
Okay.
And you could hear them trying to speak to you, but you were not able to figure out what they were saying, just enough to hear their voice, but it's just almost too far away. And it looked like another adventurer like you. So it's like you couldn't tell. Like it was either a very short man or a tall dwarf. It was a little bit hard to tell. And they were wearing like a helmet and armor, but it was like smoke. So it was very clear that they were not a person.
Actually,
Yeah.
okay.
And that happened. That was some kind of a reoccurring theme in your dream, and it seemed like it was the roads that you'd been riding on that day.
I think when you go into town, if you'll have them, Aerlind would try and invite themselves
Oh,
along.
yeah.
Very like, I would like to see the Hobbit place, please.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just gonna say, well, yeah, of course, if you want to. Just, I recommend not going into the fences of my neighbors, if you don't mind. Just
step back there for a little bit while I talk to him? I can introduce you afterwards, but let me just get a little
quite all
little
right.
conversation out of him first.
That's quite all right.
All right, okay, all right. Yeah, come on, let's go.
Wonderful.
So Aerlind, your presence is a big disturber. Like-
Every time I knock on a door, I'm like, oh, I don't mind them. They're just an elf.
Yeah, they are
No other explanation.
like
Standing there.
jaw dropping, like humans sometimes kind of come through this area, especially because you live through what is kind of the unofficial capital of the Shire.
Mhm.
But elves don't, and they don't stop and talk to hobbits. Like the few hobbits who may have like glimpsed them riding through on their way to the west, like it's like almost like a dream or a vision. Like
And-
having an elf there to like talk to them is like
And every
Well,
time you gesture to Aerlind, they're just like, hello.
The hobbits that saw the elves riding by in the distance, they got to drink for free that night because they got to tell the story.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, and they waved to me and they were very friendly.
yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. So you it's probably rumored that you have these weird friends and
Yeah.
these strange adventures, and you get invited to things, but like you are not really accepted in
Yeah.
Hobbit society. You're a little
Yeah.
bit of like kind of the black sheep
Yeah.
because you do these. You keep going on adventures,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and you choose to do it over, and you become friends with these non-Hobbit people.
Yeah.
It's very
kinda
strange, and it makes
folk
you late for dinner. And
Yeah.
why would you do that?
And it's like fun to hear the stories, but
Yeah.
past that, it's a little like
Yeah, it's one of those things where everyone's like, I disapprove of that. Tell me about
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that sounds terrible. Did you hear what he did? So it's like the gossip and the talk.
Yeah.
And it's probably been that way for quite some time since you stopped being sheriff, which
Mhm.
in and of itself was probably a very strange happening.
Yeah.
And so while you are included in large events, people don't have you regularly to their home, like one-on-one for friendships.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you are a kind of an oddity, especially when your friends visit. How often do they visit?
I don't know if you necessarily come around a lot. I mean, I always open my door to you. I never say no if you come a knocking. And, even if, like, there is one of those big gatherings, if I know you're coming or if I see you coming, I will, like, peel away and make sure that you have a place to, like, show you just all the hospitality a Hobbit can show you. So.
And that's a big deal.
Yeah.
I do feel like this is kind of your regular route between Bree and Creek's Crossing. So it's probably it probably doesn't feel super regular to you, but it seems like all the time to everybody in this area. Like all the hobbits are just like, you're here a lot.
Yeah.
It's so strange. Like
At the very least, I think Runa, it makes sense, that
Yeah.
you would kind of pass through.
But I feel like a lot of the rumors probably accidentally come from her because she's so used to like telling adventuring stories that she like is like basically showing them your baby pictures and like,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
telling what is to you like embarrassing stories about your adventures.
Sure.
I feel like Aerlind also passes this way when just going home.
Sure. Oh, yeah, that makes sense,
'Cause
too.
it's also
Oh,
right
it's
there,
enough.
and so it's just one of those like they don't come by as often. That's because they also don't go home as often. I think
Yeah.
as Runa does.
mhm.
Yeah.
But they definitely, if they are of the understanding that your door is open,
Yeah.
they will just show up and knock on your door.
Sure. Yeah. Like time of day. I'm not even surprised when you like come in at like
Yeah.
the middle of the night.
But unlike Runa, I think he mostly keeps to himself when he comes in, and he's just like,
Sure.
"Hello," very politely. It's just like, "I'm going to my friend's house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't belong here."
And you get the experience of every time you come through, all of you do, but especially you, Aerlind, there's like the pack of little hobbit children who are like terrified but also fascinated, and they're like just out of reach, and a couple of the brave ones might like come up and like say something to you and then like run away again, and they like get dared. So you have like this little like the children are like fascinated and amazed, and they haven't quite like been like trained by Hobbit society to be like aghast at adventures yet. They still kind of have that
Yeah.
dreaming quality. And kind of think it's neat to see like, oh look, there's a world outside of the Shire.
And meanwhile, Aerlin's like, "You're a child. I haven't seen one of those in a really long time.
Yeah.
Tell
And
me
there's a bunch of them.
everything."
Yeah. And they're like, well, I'm 5, and that's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm turning 6 next. And this is the kind of person.
And he will sit there and just listen to all of it.
Yeah, and they think that's amazing because a lot of them don't get listened to very often.
And like fully takes notes in the whole thing. Of,
Oh.
Yeah.
They're amazed at like
Every
writing.
single child that you like come
Yeah.
across
Like,
telling this story. I love that. I love
I
that.
love the thought of like Aerlind is like sitting somewhere like on like a stump or a rock or something, and then like there's one child that you started talking to, you're taking notes, and then like a few minutes later you look up and there's just like a dozen children all
million
sitting around staring, like watching you write things. Because like the Hobbits write, but they don't write in Tengwar and
Beautiful
like Elvish,
Tengwar script.
just all over. and it's
Immaculate
like-
handwriting.
yeah, and it's just like amazing and like yeah. So they capture how special it is to know an elf, and this is something that they will tell like their grandchildren about, and this will be a storied thing that they were, even if you don't even have any idea what their names are. Like I was friends with an elf and I sat with one once. Like this is a thing.
Mm.
And he said his name many times, but it's like Aerlind of Mithlond.
But they know your name.
Yeah.
But you might not know all of their
Oh
names.
no.
No, but they feel like you're their friend.
Yeah.
So they are like when they see you. and they-
Parasocial hobbits.
Yeah. Yeah. And so you've probably been coming long enough that you've seen some of them age out of being so enthusiastic to see you. Like they kind of are like
Yeah, wait, that's
like,
a little weird.
a little wave, but like them like becoming
Yeah.
more stoic and like, oh, adventurers. Oh, I'm gonna walk this way
I'm
now.
here to ruin Hobbit society.
And 100% Hannar, like, secrets. It has to be rock candy, dwarven rock candy.
Yes, it's-
Like, and just like pulls it out of pouches and like hands it off to the kids like
Yes.
quietly
Yeah.
so that their parents don't see, and just pulling it out of little pockets and
I think
passing it up.
I would think because you're like a trader, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
and like a wandering mercantile, like you've actually come through here, and you're like,
Oh, yeah.
everybody's like the easiest with you. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
they're also wondering, like whenever you come and stay at my place, they're like, oh, is that like, you know, what it was like? You know, are they like partying in there, like, you know, when that company of dwarves came and crashed that place in Hobbiton, you know, some years ago. You know, something like that.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say that dwarven rock candy is actually in the shape of gems.
Oh,
That's so cool.
Yeah,
That's so cool.
And the different flavors look like the different ones. Like
Cut
there's ruby.
Gem
and
Tastes like
emerald.
pretzel.
candy.
Yeah. So like any dwarf could look at that. Oh, that's candy. But some of them, like some of the kids at first, they get it and they're like, oh, "This is a giant emerald," and then they're like, "Oh, it's sweet," and then they can eat it.
Now
and
they're
it's
gonna
like,
look gems
oh,
though.
emerald
sweet.
Yeah.
They'll never see a gem.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Nope. Again, ruining Hobbit society.
You know what I just love is that you're probably taking all of your records to Valinor with you, right? So somewhere
Yeah.
in like Valinor, there's a record of like detailed accounts of hobbits and ages,
Yes.
hobbit children.
Yes, and
It's
about how
somewhere in
tall
the
they are. They're
library.
about they're about
Yeah.
you know a meter tall.
and like the story of the dragonfly they chased that one time.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
like,
Yes.
the little wonders of their daily
They tell you about their
lives.
dog.
Section in the
Yeah.
library with that.
Yes.
It's so-
Yeah, and like they don't
That's
even
awesome.
get that, but like the fact that in some record somewhere for eternity, these children will be remembered
Yeah.
for their little joys and their stories. And
Yeah.
I love that so much.
So cute.
I love it. Okay. Yeah. So this is a beautiful magical place, and I love it so much. But we probably should continue.
Yeah.
Sorry. So, no, I love everything about it. All right. So how many days? You said you already decided this, and I forgot already.
3.
3
3
days.
days. So we removed 3
So
fatigue.
you remove 3 fatigue.
Enough to start a bunch of new rumors about sausage
Yeah.
in the tavern before we
Yeah.
go.
Get some more kids' stories.
Get more impressionable kids who
Rile
think
up
that
all the
gems are for
kids.
eating now.
Yeah.
I feel like Runa's probably giving them like piggyback rides, carrying them on their shoulders.
Yes. Yes.
Making those
absolutely.
children taller than they will ever be in their
Yes.
entire lives.
Yeah.
I love Hobbit children.
They're awesome.
They're so pocket
100%.
sized.
Like a decade from now, there's just like gonna be a wave of hobbits that visited Jeweler and Bree, and they're like, "Oh, that looks good."
Yep.
Pick it up and lick it. Oh.
Ugh,
Why does it taste like dirt?
it's so sharp. Why did it cut my tongue? Why? This is terrible. What kind of confectionery shop is this?
Okay, we're staying for 3 days. I will make it very far now. We're doing
Okay.
great.
Okay.
Here's an important question. Do you have a hammock in your little front yard?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
absolutely.
okay.
Play in your hammock, play your...
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I know now that it's big enough for, for like non-hobbits as well to like relax in there comfortably.
No, I'm not that much bigger.
No,
so-
yeah, no, that's true, but you're not gonna be the only one who will
Sure.
want to use that.
So, like, whenever you go out to talk to the neighbors, I usually end up in the
Yeah.
hammock,
Mhm.
swinging back and forth, just smoking a pipe, and
Nice.
sometimes I fall asleep with like a tankard on my stomach.
Oh,
Like,
hopefully the step breeze doesn't blow through.
sometimes it does. The dangers of outdoor drinking.
Watching the spores there.
Nice. All right. Let us continue then.
Yes.
So at this point, are we veering off the road?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
So you lose your die to the guide rolls for that, but I don't think there are any other penalties for that.
Road good,
Okay.
but we
Yeah,
must
you're
travel
still-
north.
Yeah, you're still in the not terrible area. So
Do you want me to take over a guide since
Sure.
we
Yeah.
don't
yeah.
have the bonus for the road?
At the most, because we're still kind of like in my territory. I mean, I would assume I'd get the one die.
Mhm.
That
Oh,
would
yeah.
be one die.
It's the same
Is it
as
the
I
same?
have. Yeah.
I can. You know what? I can take it then. I'll take it.
Okay, go for it.
Lead us out of the Shire.
Yeah. Exactly.
7 is the total length of our journey.
okay.
That's it. Oh, we're great.
Okay.
We
So
can do it.
I'll take the guide spot again, or the guide roll rather again.
Okay.
Hunter.
I'll scout.
Oh, Master Scouter.
I mean,
I'm gonna roll a different die. Hopefully, we'll not roll one for scouting again. We'll see. All right, make our guide roll.
Okay. Here we go. Oh, that's Gandalf and a 4.
Oh!
Ooh.
Fantastic. So that is a success. So that means you get 3 hexes, but we're doubling it because of mounts.
Oh, we're like almost there.
Yeah.
Almost there. All right.
So that's 6. And let's roll for which 4. So that is our lookout.
Oh! I have to do things.
So you do.
Hello.
So you're gonna roll against a mishap and see.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, that's only an 11.
Okay.
I don't make that.
All right. So you all take 2 fatigue. Aerlind, you take 3 because you failed. And you add 1 day to the length of the journey. So there's something here that delays you. So I'm gonna have it be. What time is it? Oh, okay. No, we're not gonna do a combat right now. we'll wait. Yeah. What do you have an idea of what do you think it might be? I don't think it's a full terrible thing. I think it's something that just kind of like I don't know, something that delays you a bit.
I think Aerlind gets distracted.
Okay.
Because I think in this area, the mountains kind of cascade down towards the sea.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been a minute since
Mhm.
Aerlind has seen the sea. And I think he kind of gets a little bit more like staring at the ocean and seeing
Mhm.
the white tower and all of that. So there's no way you can miss it. It's
Yeah.
giant.
Yes.
And looking over the Gulf. And I think he just slows down, stops kind of looking around as much as he's kind of supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
And might miss some like obvious like, hey, we could go this way. Oh no, we're just gonna keep going that way because that's the way that's clear, I guess. Yeah.
Let's see. And while you're here, we're gonna say that that's what happens. And so as you are like here, I mean, most people can't smell the ocean this far, but you can definitely smell it. And it brings back a very special memory of you and Marin. So can you tell us what that memory is? Because that's really what, like, seeing the tower and all those things, but that's really what made you really distracted. So what was the memory that got you so just like wrapped up in it that you strayed from the path?
I think what first kind of triggers it is looking down. He's very actually in like stat reasons keen-eyed and sees the sails of one of the great ships fill. And they've seen it many, many times. But for some reason, this one, especially having taken so much time away, this one calls back to the one ship that he wished it didn't leave. And kind of fade to two elves sitting over a table with, like, you know, just cups of tea. Normal morning, beautiful sun over the ocean. It's all you can see. The tower that they're sitting in is tall enough that it's just all ocean views. And Aerlind has been talking about very mundane things, you know, the quality of wood. The timber has been that's been coming down to the mountains is so. There was a infestation of bugs a couple generations ago, and now it's starting to really show. I think that the image that keeps on calling back is really Marin not responding, not actually talking, and they've spent hundreds of years having these conversations. And this one, Marin just looks out to the sea and does not talk. And that's when I think Aerlind knew that he was losing his best friend.
Yeah. That Marin had been called and wanted to go to Valinor. Yes. Yeah, and so that is kind of what causes your distraction, and also kind of, we're going to say that's also what causes your extra fatigue. It's emotionally fatiguing as well as everything else. All right.
It's probably also the ship that our elf friend from the last journey is leaving on.
Yeah, that she's leaving on.
Yeah, Anoni. That's right.
Yeah.
God, I roleplayed so many years as that elf. Okay.
Oh.
So many years.
I love that she got to be it.
I know. I love it too. Okay. Yeah, she was a librarian. She
Best
told us.
friend.
Yeah. So, the Tor and Cinta, which is the Jewel of Knowledge, was her library. Yeah, I named it in Quenya. Yet. Sue me. It's fine.
Live your life.
Yeah, it's fine.
Live your life.
Tor and Cinta. Marin Cinta. Yeah, Tor and Cinta. Okay. Sorry, got wrapped up in self-lore for a moment. So, yeah, next day's journey. So I think we have,
One day.
depending on how you roll, one more. I think, looking at the map.
We lost a day.
Yeah.
So we're just going to add that to the count of days.
Sure.
We don't have to do anything with that. So one more roll. Someone for guide. Who wants to be a guide?
I think I'm plumb out of bonuses for this one.
Okay.
All right.
Oh,
Do
yeah.
you want to take it then?
I'll give it a
Okay.
try.
So what are our other roles?
Hmm.
Scout. Again.
Look out.
Look out.
Or would you like to be lookout? And
I have the best chances of lookout.
yeah, why don't you
Let
go
me take
lookout?
that at the very least.
Including that Aerlind failed terribly.
It's such a good fail. I love that fail.
So is Hannar hunting?
Yeah, Hannar, would you like to hunt?
Sure. I'm super excited about Hannar's hunting technique. I'm just like,
I feel like Aerlind has once tried to hunt, especially in this area.
Uh-oh.
Oh, goodbye forever.
Which one was that?
It was the
The feet die?
feet
Here you
die.
go.
I got another one.
oh, it's a floof die.
Whoop.
Oop.
We failed,
Ruh-roh.
but not disastrously.
No.
Just a
okay.
little.
So that means our event will be 4 hexes away, but we only have to go 2.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
make
Yeah,
it.
we'll make it there. So we'll just say that something exciting is going to happen when you get to... Oh, wait. You're going to... So it's 3. Because you're going... Wait, no.
Oh, yeah, Creek's Crossing.
Yeah.
It's 3.
Yeah.
Is it? Are you in... I can't tell. I think you're in that one.
We're in.
No, just a couple then. Right?
1.
1, 2.
Oh, I guess 2.
Yeah, it's just 2.
Just 2.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We are going to say that you take an extra day to get across the river.
Okay.
Okay.
Because there isn't...
Between the you
Because
need
of
to
the
not
bridge.
you need to not cross river.
The bridge is not there. Well, you also... Yeah. So yeah, we'll just say because there's not a bridge there.
There's been an unseasonable rain upriver,
Yes.
and the river is running
Yes.
high.
Yes. Yeah. I'm just gonna say since I haven't looked up the rules for if there's not a you're supposed to cross bridges and stuff for the rules. I didn't look up what the rules are for crossing where there's not a bridge. But you're adventurers, so I refuse to believe you simply can't do it.
That's
If
also
hobbits can do
where-
it,
Yeah.
It's where our
you're
ruins
right.
are too.
Yeah.
So I feel like we
Yeah.
got to be able
Okay.
to.
Yeah,
cross.
no, you're right. You're right. I won't take you an extra day for this one. We'll have that be the house rule for other runs, but because of your runes are right there, we'll say that you have your knowledge of like where there are areas here. So we won't do an extra day for that, and I'll also look up and see if there's rules for that. Okay, so you definitely make it, and we're
But-
gonna say we are going to resolve the other rules though. So even though it was a failed roll,
Things
because of
still
the,
happen.
yeah, you're so close, you get there anyway. And it's going to be, the scout.
oh no,
Oh boy.
oh no.
That'll be fine. All right.
here we go.
Oh, and it's a Gandalf. So all right, if you
Okay.
get it.
I am the scout today. What am I doing? Hello. Explore. Took this one because I can do this.
Mhm.
Yes, I have
Mhm.
one. I have one
Okay,
die in
fair.
it.
No. Oh no.
Oh,
All right. Does anyone want to help? You can help.
Oh.
I don't know if you have to.
Yeah. What is so exactly? What did
You
you?
spend a hope, and you can give anyone an
An
extra
extra
die.
die.
Yeah, yeah. I'll certainly spend a hope and
Okay.
give you that extra die if it'll bring you within. Will it bring you within?
I mean, yeah. Before we spend it,
I know.
we
Yes,
could even.
if I roll just above median, I will make it.
Okay. Yeah. Then please take that hope point.
All right. I don't know if you're supposed to say that before, but whatever. It's fine for now.
Oh, made it.
Okay.
Just
good.
at it.
yay!
Okay.
All right. So success. Very nice. So you are met with a joyful sight. If the roll succeeds, all company members regain 1 hope.
Oh. Awesome.
Yay!
So I'm gonna say
Well
that.
spent.
Yeah, very well spent.
I was like, oh, it's again, it's so good. So I'm gonna say that as you are riding through this area, you pass your rooms, which are like your home away from home. This is like a very important spot for you as a group. And you kind of like go over you come out of the forest there, and like you see creeks crossing, and it's just like bustling, welcoming little town that has like very homey vibes for you. And you see a couple people like oh, look at this, they're our friends, the adventurers, and like they wave, and just kind of welcome you back. And that will be the end of our journey. So at the end of our journey, go ahead and subtract the amount of fatigue from your mount and or
Okay, wait, how much fatigue do we take for the last one?
that was, I don't think any. Yep, none, because you got the
Hooray.
Gandalf
All
ring.
right.
Thanks, Gandalf.
Yeah, that's a good one.
How many do we take from the first leg?
2. Well, I have 2 total since we left sausages.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it should have been, I think, like 4. We're supposed to be writing this down, but that's okay. There's actually a special sheet, but it's like way too much. Like, I'm against worksheets, like in teaching, so I'm not really. I probably should print out the worksheet for us, but it's okay.
The live charting works. I just have to remember to do it.
Yes. Okay. And so also don't forget to make a travel
Get
roll.
to make the travel roll.
If you
Right.
successfully get one, you get to lose 1 fatigue point plus 1 for each 6 you roll.
Nay.
Thanks for that stop at sausages. Even though I didn't sleep well the first night, I actually arrived feeling much less fatigued than when we left.
Fabulous.
And you've kind of gotten used to it a little bit, but almost every night you have some sort of dream about this
Okay.
figure.
Mm.
It doesn't seem to be like the first night it was like you felt haunted, but now it's just kind of, it doesn't feel as menacing to you now. But
Okay.
it's kind of a thing that's popping up in your brain sometimes at night.
So what happens when we get a 6?
You get something. You get an extra fatigue back
Okay.
if you roll a 6.
I roll a 6 on my feet die.
Nothing.
No.
It's just on the success die.
Okay.
The d6s.
I don't have any of them.
Oh well
Look at
then.
that roll. It's okay.
Wah,
I still succeed because I spent a hope to auto succeed.
wah. Okay.
And I was like, oh, I guess I should roll this anyways.
Yes. Very nice. Okay. So yeah, you are here, and you are in town. About 30 minutes left. Give or take. All right. So you were in town, and you were supposed to get in touch with Yam.
Reviam.
Yes.
Yeah, it's revamp.
Reviam.
2%. Yam 2%.
Reeve 2%.
See what he's cooking up.
All right. So you know where his house is. They don't have like a town. This is a very small town. So they don't have. In fact, if this wasn't so far from every other place, they probably wouldn't have their own reeve because it's sort of silly. But it's more like a town elder, but like not older. He's just kind of like in charge and one of the more educated people in town. He lives kind of on the edge of town. A little bit nicer house than some of the others, but they're all very basic stone or wood buildings, and definitely a little more rustic than what you saw in even the Shire in most places. Rustic in a different way. Like the things in the Shire, while they are rustic, are of very high quality. Like you can see a Hobbit home that has an incredibly expensive door that's still like made of wood and things like that. Here, everything is very basic. So it's like they do not have the beautiful knobs that you'd sometimes see as you went through the Shire on the doors. And so while that is rustic, this is like simplistic rustic, like functional rustic. In a way.
Frontiersy.
Yeah, more frontiersy type. They're starting to have some like little additions. You can see that there are houses that have like glass windows, some of them now, and things like that. Not very many, but like little things like that are starting. Were starting to come to Creek's Crossing before the bridge incident. They are working very hard. They're about halfway done with the rebuilding of the bridge, which is a big deal for them, and it's something they're dedicating a lot of work to because they know that that's kind of going to be their literal bread and butter. So pretty much from dawn until dusk, you just hear like hammering and building and sawing on this bridge. And it's probably going to be another month before completion. So fairly close. All right, what would you all like to do?
We're seeking out Yam, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we'll maybe like tether our horses and then start making our way to the Reeves house or office. Right?
Okay. And you do so. It's not really an office. It's his house.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Wasn't sure.
Like, it's one of the houses that have glass windows. It's a little nicer, and it's got like a little sign on the front that says "Reed Yam Tuberson," and it's not even carved. It's like
Painted.
painted. Yeah, but it seems very nice and fancy, and it's actually like colors of paint. So there's like it's like a red color with like some white lettering on it. And it was obviously paid for. It was not written by anyone probably here, especially you know there's not a lot of learned people in Creek's Crossing. Lots of good hearts, stout,
Wonderful conversationalists.
yeah, absolutely. Not a lot of book learning, as it were. And so coming in, Yam's house is one of the few that does have like a shelf of books. He does appear to be reading something. So you think that he may be able to read and write. You're pretty sure. No, you've never seen him write, but things get written. Like there's notes around, so you can assume. All right.
Well, hello.
Now, how are you known to the people in Creek's Crossing? Like, I feel like they have to have like a name for you, like for your group,
Oh.
like a nickname, like that. It doesn't have to be like, I don't know.
I
You
think
can
it's
think about it.
funny that there's like a rumor or something that we're just a band.
Okay.
I like that,
You
yeah.
play music so
Yeah.
often.
I'm sure that they've also figured that we're adventurers, but I think it'd be really funny if they're like, that band that comes through every so often.
Okay.
I love that.
I like it. Yeah.
The band. Where's the band?
The
The
band.
band.
If
Yeah.
they don't have any other ones.
Now we have to come up with a band name.
Yeah. you do.
We're the band, and then they have that one guy that plays the flute on Friday nights in the tavern.
Yeah. Absolutely. And so, Yam is a somewhat like kind of lean, like it has very big eyebrows. Kind of always kind of looks like he's looking down his nose. He has a pair of glasses that are probably a very old prescription at this point, so he's always kind of squinting and kind of holding things, kind of looking at things. He's not very old. He's probably like mid-50s or so. And average height, maybe a little shorter for a human, like a little short on the shorter side. And has worn clothes that he obviously takes a lot of pride in. They're probably like second or third hands, like Reeve or Mare's like robes that he wears when he's like officially working. It's kind of famous for you coming in and he's like sitting at the desk, which he's kind of taken over his like sitting area. Like he's kind of moved all his sitting area stuff out and it's like his office, quote office. And he's very famous for when people come in. He jumps up and like goes and grabs his robe that's hanging and puts it on for his like official meetings with people. And he is big fans of you, and he very, very much likes Leoren. So he's just like, this is the town that loves him. Like, he's just the best here, and everyone loves him and thinks he's fantastic. And
People remember him.
totally remember him here. Yeah, and this is one of the places where Leoren is like very relaxed and seems like very at home. My friends, yes, hello. He jumps up and like doesn't run, but like jogs over and grabs his robe and puts it on. Hello. He's kind of smoothing it and dusting it a little. It's probably been a few days, and people don't come to him very often.
No.
Usually, it's like small squabbles between which hen is whose, and they all look the same, and all those things. I am so glad you came. You always seem to arrive at the most fortuitous moments. Are you staying long?
Well, as long as needs be, I think.
Well, there's been some thefts occurring here in Creek's Crossing, and nothing of note, unfortunately, or at least what amazing things all of you see. But we've been noticing that some of the supplies for rebuilding the bridge have been disappearing at night, and just like many planks of wood and tools and things of that nature, and we even have left lookouts, and then they still are gone the next morning. Now, that one time, Skander fell asleep while he was supposed to be watching, so that time we can't account for. But there have been much more steadfast lookouts and other nights, and they have not seen anything, but the things still disappear.
That is very strange.
It is very strange, especially because nobody seems to be building anything in town. If someone was building a thing, I would know why they'd want the great planks of wood. But instead, they just seem to be disappearing.
And where are the supplies kept?
Oh, in a pile by where they're building the bridge.
Oh, I mean, that makes sense.
Don't have any big structures nearby. If we had a barn, maybe we'd keep them in the barn, but it seems very silly to drag all the wood every night into the barn and then drag it all. Yeah, yes. You obviously, you were very learned. Adventuring band, yes.
Band, yes.
Band, yeah.
A band of adventurers.
Unfortunately, you know how important the bridge is to the the elections are coming up soon, and the people in town are starting to get very anxious about my leadership and worried that the bridge will not be rebuilt if this keeps happening. And I would like to request, my friend, your help, so that possibly, and he kind of like brushes off his robes and like he's a little bit worried about losing them.
Oh.
So that I can continue to serve Creek's Crossing in the best way I can.
Around 2%.
Yes. Master. He bows like very badly, but very deep.
Why would someone threaten... What about losing the materials besides unhappiness in the town would threaten your leadership?
Well, the materials themselves, not so much. We do live right near the forest, so the wood itself is not a precious commodity. It's more the time and getting the bridge working and functioning as quickly as possible.
And a setback is a setback, of course, right?
Indeed, and the time that is spent having to go and create new lumber is time that should be spent rebuilding the bridge with lumber that we already have.
You've been getting a lot of people coming through lately?
Not since the bridge was burned.
Of course. So, hate to say it, but it sounds like this may be some folks from town.
I would hate to think so, but I don't know any other explanation for what it could be. And I hate to start casting suspicion on people in town, especially with the election coming up, and if it's the wrong people, it could be quite a problem for me. But there's been no strangers about, and why would strangers on the road take large amounts of lumber with them? It seems a foolish proposition.
Cumbersome.
Yes, indeed. But I do not, know the ways of many in this Middle Earth of ours. So perhaps there are those who like it.
Is there a particular other citizen of town that has been clamoring for your removal, or a rival that seems to be beginning to campaign?
Well, Thaddeus. I couldn't come up with a name. Thaddeus. Birchmere. The great landowner, the great landowner for Creek's Crossing. He owns 3 full homes. He himself does not ever run, but he incessantly calls for my removal. And it seems, I'm sure, that he will put forth his own candidate, as he generally does. Although he has not named one this time. But he is one of the louder voices decrying the disappearance and the delay of the bridge. He himself, as one of our more prominent and wealthy citizens, has suffered quite a bit under the lack of visitation and trade with our town. But I poked around a bit myself near one of his homes, and I did not see anything, although I am very recognized, and so maybe he is involved. I would not be surprised, but also he is very well known, and I would think it would be strange for a sudden amount of lumber to suddenly be at his home, and then, but who knows? I do not know. And he kind of like looks and thinks, he obviously does not like Thaddeus.
I don't think any of us do.
No, I don't think anyone like that.
Like, you all know, like, you probably had like issues with him. I think we came up with a bunch of when we did.
Yeah, we did.
It's like, oh, that guy.
Yeah.
Well, we could certainly stake out the lumber. I mean, I know your previous night watch has not been successful in preventing the theft, but perhaps the band of us could do a little bit more.
Oh, yes. Farm boys and lumberjacks are nowhere near the capable scouting and watchkeeping of the 4 of you. Yeah. Especially like dwarves and elves. I mean, they can all see in the dark, right?
Well, of course.
We will do this for you.
Oh,
Yes.
Of
Of course.
Of
Agree.
course.
I appreciate that so much. I am. It is so fortuitous that you have arrived at this time. Like, oh, a few more days and the election would have already occurred. It's amazing.
Oh. Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? Did I miss something?
I did. It's fine. It's
Oh,
quite all right.
oh, but yes, the election is at the end of this, or we'll say in 6 days. So at the end of this week.
Okay. All right.
That gives us a little bit of time to poke
Yeah.
around.
I say maybe we go over, take a look at the site where everything is stashed.
Maybe take a scenic walk around
Yeah.
the old Birchmere houses.
See if anything's amiss in town.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, do we want to kind of like peel off from one another and
Hmm.
We'll
Scatter
all go
around the
different
town.
angles.
Mm-hmm.
Suppose we could. We're a little bit less conspicuous, not all together.
Also, one of us is better than 10 farm boys.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, perhaps I'll go look at the edge of the forest. Because, I mean, it would be smart to hide lost materials out in the woods
Mhm.
versus trying to secret them away in someone's house.
That's true.
Like, just for somebody to come by and peer in the window and be like, that's an awful lot of furniture that's been built in there all of a sudden.
Oh, before you go, one moment. He goes over to his, what is kind of a desk. It's more like a table that like has a little shelf unit under it that is made to look like a desk.
It's a
Buddy.
rustic IKEA hat.
Yeah.
yeah.
Kind of, yeah, exactly. But it's like it's been sanded. It's nice. Like it's not. It's, yeah.
How fresh is the wood?
And he goes and he pulls out like a little pouch, and he pulls out and he starts to pull out like what to him is a great sum of coins,
Mhm.
and he starts to try and hand them to you, and he's like trying to. They're probably like copper coins,
Sure,
but it's
yeah.
like,
Mm.
and he's like starting to hand you each a couple. Just
Oh.
for your time and
Yeah.
for your efforts. I know.
No. If we are successful, buy me drinks.
Of course, I will do that anyway. Of course, but thank you. I will not have you do this for charity. I want to make sure that my campaign is above board and that I am paying for services and those who keep it honest. It cannot just be favors.
I will allow you to pay us as long as I can give a donation towards your campaign.
Oh, but yes, that should be fine. So he goes and he pulls out like another book. It's like a big ledger, and it's from like he's pretty much been reelected for as long as anybody. It's just
Yeah.
So it's like he turns and turns and turns and turns until like a fresh page, which is like, all right. And then he writes like the amount he paid you
Mhm.
subtracted, and then what would you like the donation to be?
And she just pulls out treasure and just like flunk on the desk.
Mm.
It's vastly more expensive than you paid us.
Yeah, like his hands shaking as he's trying to write. I'll just do this later.
I think this should be sufficient.
Yes. He starts to like hold himself up on his little desk. Okay, well, all right. Thank you so much for your time, and I appreciate everything. Yes. Oh, and he sits down.
Aerlind does take the 4 copper or whatever this lovely person has given him and just slips it in his robe for now.
Yeah, you know what? I'll take the other ones because at the very least we're gonna want to like probably.
Same. He did pay us.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And like accommodate ourselves in the town if we need to, just in case. Can always go back into the donation pot later.
Aerlind never holds on to the money that people pay him for very long. He usually just he's been following Runa a little bit too long, I think. The money ends up in other places.
What you do with money?
Yeah, it's not for keeping.
All right.
Yeah,
So you're-
let's.
You're gonna check out the woods then?
Yeah, I'll go check out the.
I'll check out the site. I'll check out I'll skirt around the site and investigate there.
Okay.
I'm gonna walk the town and talk to people. See what's going on.
Okay. Right, so we're gonna do different things.
Are you doing the lumber? Or should I do the lumber and not walk around town?
I think you're doing
Oh,
the
you're doing-
lumber.
You're
Yeah, I
doing
was
the-
gonna check out
right.
the lumber site. Yeah,
Yeah.
like the
And
storage.
you
and
wanted to
job
check
site.
out the other guy,
I'm
Thaddeus'
suspicious
houses.
of
Oh, yeah.
Thaddeus. I'm gonna go
Yeah.
creep around his houses.
Cool. Walk around town,
What's
see if anyone's
suspicious
being weird.
about him? List of, there we go.
If he's not guilty of this, he's guilty of something.
Something.
And we're gonna find out.
We're just gonna let the treasure acquirers go and acquire information.
Go and look for stuff.
All right, so you are going to let's start with
Aha.
Haha.
Would this be a scan?
yes.
Great. That's what I was hoping.
So like you're off near the you said you were going to go to like the edge of the woods there.
Kind of figured like the where someone would go that's not along the road or the path
Mhm.
that might carry some things to try and hide them out in the woods.
Okay.
Just be on the edge of town.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. The town is kind of nestled in what like originally was forest, but they've cut back enough of it so it's kind of like there's a clearing to where the town is to where the bridge was, and then there's kind of forest on the edges on both sides. And then on the far side, on the west side, it's kind of like a more open plains area. So there's forest to the north and the south and the east. And then the bridge is obviously right there.
Sure.
It was there. In progress bridge. Yeah.
Well, I got a 6 rune.
Okay.
And that's 10. 40. Yeah, I made it.
Okay.
So yeah, I probably would spend some time and I'd look to see if there's a spot where the grass has been kind of trampled down a little bit, and okay, or if it looks like something was drug into the woods. Because is it mostly lumber we're looking for?
Yeah, there's some tools and stuff,
Oh, okay. All
but nothing big. It's like some hammers or stuff like that. So,
Sure.
So I'm sorry. Were you to the north or kind of the south?
right. I'd probably start on the
You
North
just
end.
do the whole thing. Oh, to the north end. Okay.
yeah. I'd probably start on the north end.
Okay. You are seeing there's some there. It looks like there were things kind of drugged to the north a little bit, but it's super hard to tell because someone has very obviously tried. Well, very obviously because you got a success, an extra success. They've done the thing where they've drug it through the forest and then picked up debris from the forest floor and rescattered them. So unless you are someone who's like trained for adventuring and things like that, you probably wouldn't notice because it looks very normal. The thing that kind of gives it away is like leaves from that tree over there, like the oak tree, are over here underneath this other tree, maple tree. I don't know trees, and it very obviously would not have just fallen that direction. So.
Interesting. Well, I'd probably start making my way that direction.
Okay.
Like follow the path
Okay.
as best I can and
Okay.
head out that way.
Over yourself. Okay.
Yeah.
No problem. It's fine.
I mean, I'm not gonna go like miles. I'm gonna like a reasonable distance. I would travel into the woods.
Okay.
I'm fairly confident that most things right next to a town, I'm gonna be okay.
So how far are you going to go?
Oh, I don't know.
Time wise.
I'd probably follow it for a half hour.
Okay. You're not quite. I'm looking at the actual map.
Sure,
'Cause
sure.
there's you're not quite gonna get there, but you see it keeps going. But you kind of get to that point where you're like, I feel like I'm getting too far away.
Yeah, yeah.
Like if anything were to happen out here, like no one would hear you.
Hmm.
It's the middle of the forest. Things would probably come eat your corpse before anybody knew where you were. Things like that.
Right.
Misadventure.
Yes.
TM.
Yeah.
Exactly. But you're sure there's like, okay, things have happened here.
Okay.
Who was doing what and who wants to go next?
I'd probably like mark the way,
Yeah.
like with my axe, just like chip off a little bark on a couple
Totally.
of trees. make it easier to come back later if we need to.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's still incredibly obvious to you. Like, unless there is some sort of random windstorm that blows all the leaves everywhere, or a heavy rain that changes everything, like you could follow this again.
Okay.
Especially because you know what to look for now. You don't have to roll.
I was going to go check out the job site. You
Okay.
know, like where the bridge is being built and where all the timber and tools are being stored.
Runa, were you gonna do that as well?
No, I'm gonna creep on Thaddeus's
Okay.
properties.
Okay. All right, then go ahead and go, and you're gonna roll scan.
I'm gonna roll scan for that. Okay.
Unless you have another suggestion.
No. I mean that's sort of.
Not roll courtesy to find.
No. No, that's sort of what makes sense to me too.
Yeah.
I don't have any success dice on that, so I'm gonna burn one more hope point.
Okay.
As I'm basically kind of like walking around the area, kind of looking at everything, just looking for signs of anything, anybody who might have been there that's not a worker. So let's see, that'll be a fate die and a success die. Oh, 14 exactly. So I just hit. That's scan is.
Against wits.
That's wits, right? Okay. Yeah. So I just hit my target number.
Perfect then. That
Yeah.
matches. So yeah, you have a success. You didn't happen to roll a 6, did you?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
No great success.
All right. So you do succeed. You see, like, this is a work site, so there are tons of things. Like, people have been here in and out. Tons of things like that. You do see. Let's see. You also kind of see. It seems like there's a little bit of like drag marks.
Mm-hmm.
That have kind of been hidden. It looks like
Yeah.
someone has like, you know how like in like cartoons and stuff, like someone brings a broom and brushes
Sure,
behind
yeah,
them to
yeah.
get rid of their. So that's kind of basically what's happened. Someone's dragged some of the heavy lumber away and then brought some sort of like brush or broom to brush
To hide
away
the
the
trail.
drag marks.
Okay.
So most people, again, unless you're trained, aren't gonna really notice that because it kind of just looks like, oh, maybe this was a wheel tread from a couple of years ago or something like that. And you do see most of the people here have like fairly simple leather shoes. Some of them have like thicker soles because they're workers and things like that. But there's definitely some here that have like thick soles that are meant for like long travel and things like that,
Okay.
which are odd for random workers to wear
Yeah.
here.
Okay. As kind of like casually as I can, I'm gonna try to follow that just to where it goes.
Okay.
I think I have a pretty good idea of where it might be going, but
Sort of heading north.
yeah.
Shocking how that works. And
And as I go, I'll kind of like spot like where I'll kind of use landmarks to kind of like figure out where I am.
yeah, and it kind of disappears at points, but kind of you're now headed in the general direction. You can kind of pick up again where it like
Yeah.
where it goes.
Okay. All right.
I was gonna go around town and talk to people.
Okay, I'm gonna have you go last.
Yes.
Okay, and I am going to use scan, which I think is a favored skill for me.
Yay! So that means you roll 2 feat die,
Ooh,
Oh.
I take the better
and you
one.
take the better one.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I
You
have...
forgot about that.
I did.
Okay.
It didn't make a difference.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry about that. If you have the little mark on the left side of a skill, that means you get to roll 2 feat die and pick the best one.
Well, I'm definitely not picking the one.
No.
Okay.
I wouldn't do that.
Let's
Ooh.
see.
There's 6
Oh,
in there.
Yeah.
there is a 6 in there. I'm gonna burn a hope.
Okay. So then you'd roll. Well, oh yeah, that's
Do I-
not, I'm actually. No, it's. Usually you'd have to do it beforehand.
Okay.
I'll let you do it this time. So you just roll one more d6.
Oh.
You-
I got another 6.
Okay.
Whoa.
I only
Wow.
needed 1. I was 1 away
Yeah.
from my target
Okay.
number.
Well, you
So
definitely.
I got 2 successes.
Okay, you got
Extraordinary
2
success.
extra
2
successes.
yeah.
Okay, so okay. You look around. You're going around Thaddeus's homes.
Yeah.
Okay. There are not any signs of like materials there.
Okay.
But there are. And Thaddeus is known, and this is one of the reasons he's disliked in town. He owns these 3 houses, but he doesn't actually live in them, in any of them.
That's what I
Mhm.
thought.
Yeah.
Mm.
Like he's the Airbnb. No, I'm just kidding. So he lives in one, the grandest one. It has lots of glass windows. It actually has a coat of paint on it. And then one of the homes he generally rents to out to family, and they've lived there for some time. The last one it's not an inn officially, but rooms are rented out.
Okay.
Generally, it's not very full, especially since the bridge burned. Right now, it's very full. It looks like there's a large number of people who are staying there.
Interesting. Do they look familiar to me, like people from the town?
Not really. They might be here helping build the bridge or something.
Okay.
They don't look particularly out of place, but you also can't get a great look at them because they're all kind of hanging out in their rooms. So they're there. You can tell from creeping outside the window. Yeah.
Taking in the windows like a creeper.
You see okay, there's lights in a bunch of the rooms, and usually there's only one or two. And you can see people walking in them, and people are coming and going out of the door between there and the tavern and things like that. Yeah. So.
Okay, I'll kind of take note of the people that I can see and their general description, so I can keep an eye out for them later.
Okay.
But there's nothing I don't see any tools or anything that shouldn't be over here.
They are not carrying hammers. It's I stole all the wood. No.
Okay.
Pick me.
Yeah. But they're moving about. It's kind of hard to keep track of how many there are.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not sure that they're they're definitely not townsfolk who are generally living here.
Right. Okay. Suspicious.
Mm-hmm.
They all have embroidered caps that say Lumber Bandit 1, Lumber Bandit 2.
Yeah. And you did have a super success. I feel like I didn't just because of where you went. I feel like you didn't get to have a super success, so I'm gonna give you +1 die on your next roll to scan whatever you want.
Okay.
Okay, just as I just feel like if you'd been somewhere else, if you'd been in the woods, it would have been this is what you see.
There
blah,
it
blah, blah.
is.
And it's meh, because of where you were. So I do want you to have something special since
Yeah.
I was meh with the information, even though I gave you all the information there was for that.
That's okay.
Okay.
I picked the place.
Yes.
Yeah.
But mark that down. You get 1 extra die on
Okay.
your next scan roll.
+1 to next scan.
Yeah, only the next one. And chatting people up around town.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah. Aerlind's kind of a people person. I don't know if you've noticed.
Yeah.
And I think because we've been in this town so many times, Creek's Crossing is kind of, they're used to him. They're used to all of that. So he just goes to the inn where we've done favors for the innkeeper and all this stuff. So it's just what have you heard?
Yeah. And they love telling stories with you. They love hearing your stories. So the innkeeper, what's the innkeeper's name?
Oh God.
I'm a jerk. I'm sorry.
We'll
just say it's a tavern.
Yeah.
We're actually gonna say one of the other things it used to be an inn.
Oh
But
no.
but Thaddeus is now renting out rooms in that other place. So
Oh.
very rarely do people actually stay at the inn anymore because it's more expensive because they provide meals and stuff too.
Yeah.
So often it's pretty much just a
Go
tavern
with
now.
Olga.
Olga. Okay.
Love an Olga.
Yes. Add them over here. Okay, Olga. The tavern keeper. And we're gonna say that the tavern is called. I feel like it should have something to do. Have it be ideas. I feel like it has to be themed on the area.
Yeah.
Maybe something with I don't know, the Ruin Lookout or something Babbling Creek Tavern or something. I don't know, something really.
Bridgeside Brewery.
Yeah. There was this pub that I went to in England that was literally called the Two Arches, and it was named after the bridge next to the tavern.
Oh, okay.
So I was thinking something along those lines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe just the Bridgeside.
The
The
bridge
bridge
side.
side. Oh, rough. Rough.
It's carved into the tavern sign, and every time everybody sees it, they're
It's
like,
the old bridge too.
Yeah.
The new bridge being built next to it looks nothing
Oh,
like
yeah.
the old bridge.
There's like a really nice wood carving of the old bridge.
So it's the Bridgeside Tavern.
Mhm.
It still says "and inn" on the sign. But,
Oh.
But it's like faded.
yeah.
Or it's like his head hanging by one nail. The inn part.
Creaked a little in the wind.
Yeah. All right. So Olga sees you come in, and she's a very large woman, like not quite like elf height, but like tall, like easily 6'2" probably, and very like athletic build. Her hair is usually in a very tight braid, like a French braid that goes back, and it just like barely reaches the back of her, like the top of her back when it's braided like that. Hair is like a kind of a dark, dirty blonde color. Not sure if it's dirty or if it's just dark.
Who can say?
Yeah, who can say? But she keeps a very neat tavern. Definitely not like the quality of ale and stuff you'd find in Bree and the Prance at the Pony, but like good quality, like okay, like serviceable, like solid food. She does know what salt is.
Yeah.
And things like that.
You got to be able to keep customers coming back.
Yes,
if they want.
exactly. To you actually make a living and it's not your granddaughter's friends, you have to be good.
When they're not like social hostages.
Exactly.
You can't.
And what do they call you by your name here?
Yeah, I think he walks around and introduces himself as Aerlind from Mithlond
Okay.
to anyone that he can.
Okay.
So
I'm gonna say this is one of the people who like feels comfortable calling you. Oh, Aerlind, welcome back. It is
pleasure to
good
see you,
see
Olga.
Yes. What brings you back to Creek's Crossing?
Well, the Reeve has tasked us a bit with finding out what's going on with the bridge.
Ah, yes. Well,
What have you
Old Yam.
heard?
Well, I know Old Yam is sure in a jam. He's definitely not going to get reelected unless this gets fixed. So, I'm glad you all showed up to possibly help.
Have you seen any strange people in town lately, or
There's a whole gaggle of them all staying at Thaddeus's place. It was like the bitterness of like my job. But half of them were helping to build the bridge, and now most of them are working as like lumberjacks, trying to cut down more wood before the other pile gets stolen. It's rather ridiculous, honestly. If it wasn't so frustrating for the town, I would laugh at it.
where did these hired help come from?
I'm not quite sure. They keep to themselves quite a bit. They come in and eat, but they aren't much for conversation. Honestly,
In
they come in, generally a few at a time. They don't even sit together usually. It doesn't seem like they know each other very well either. But Thaddeus brought them all in since he's got the connections in town, of course. And yeah, they're polite enough, I guess. Tip adequately, but yeah, it's strange. They've been here for weeks, and I don't even know their names. It's very strange.
Very peculiar. Well, if you hear of any strange goings on, we'll be in town for a couple of days.
Yes.
Please let any of my usual band know.
Right. Well, with all the lumber disappearing and stuff, I mean, it's so strange. It's such a small town. If there were a stack of lumber somewhere, someone would see it. So I don't know where it's all going, but I don't know. It's a strange thing. Some people are starting to say it's revenging ghosts or something. Angry.
You can't just mention ghosts and then not tell me a ghost story, Olga.
Well, I can tell you, but you're the one who likes to spend the nights in the ruins. But if there were any ghosts, they would definitely be living there.
Well, I'm not a ghost.
Yes, obviously. It probably live longer than most ghosts, as it were, anyway.
Existential crisis
Yeah.
moment.
All right.
Yeah.
We kind of fade, and she like tells you some stories,
Yeah.
but and it's super common, and you would have heard this before. Anytime something weird happens, like the little bit superstitious thing happens, like if they can't find the wood, oh, it must be supernatural
Yeah.
things taking it. Like that's how this works.
Aerlind
Here.
wants to know.
Yeah. Yeah. So yes. So why don't we? All right. It's already 10:15, so we should probably wrap up. Yeah. So we'll start our next session with make sure that you take the 3 points for whatever and whatever that I said at the beginning.
Adventure and skill.
Yes. That. So we'll start our next adventure here with you reuniting as a group to share your newfound knowledge.
Excellent.
Although the two of you might run into each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see. So awesome. Thank you so much. Let's see. Thank you so much for enjoying the second session of the Unsung Tales, our One Ring second edition actual play. I'd like to thank our chat mods for their amazing hard work. Thank you, James V. Thank you to our amazing Patreons who keep us ad-free and independent. Because of you, we are able to play games that we enjoy without worrying about pleasing publishing companies or system popularity. You can join their heroic ranks at happyjacks.org/Patreon. And let's go around the table and reintroduce ourselves. We will start with Dave this time.
Aha. I'm Kadave. I've been having fun as Hannar for a little while and can't wait until next week to do it again. Yeah, that's about it for me. It's a wonderful day.
Yeah, chilly day. Hi, everybody. I'm Jay. You can find me on Instagram at Transplantation. You can find me on Twitter still at JAfrica. That Hive thing didn't really work out. And you can find me on Facebook as JAfrica. Yeah, glad to finally be able to roll sausage into the adventure. No pun intended or anything like that.
Oh, sausage roll.
Yeah. So we'll see where we go this week. Next week, I mean.
I am Kai. I've been Aerlind of Mithlond. You can find me on all social media platforms, including the semi-not working Hive, as Estelle of Imladris. And just launched over the weekend my brand new podcast that I've been working on for a year with my group of friends, where we sit like this around a real table and record people in one room while playing the same game. The Lore Brewery, which can be found on all social media platforms at Lore Brewery. We just launched our first adventure, which is a Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition post-apocalyptic one-shot. It's actually a 2-parter. And then this weekend, because of the holidays, we have our holiday special, Elf Crimes, a noir Clue-esque holiday-themed one-page one-shot where we all play Santa's elves solving a murder. It's chaotic, wonderful, and that drops this Sunday. And you can also find me on Saturday on Matihi's Twitch channel in the premiere episode of What We Do in the Shallows, which is a pirate-themed 5e adventure. Playing another elf. Welcome to Elfsember, where I only play elves. That's plenty of me for now.
And I'm Sam. I've played Runa of Bree, and you can find me on the interwebs at Red Pandroid and here on Mondays. So this is the only thing I'm doing right now.
It's okay. And I'm Kimi. I'm your Loremaster for this game. You can find me at Golden Lasso Girl pretty much everywhere. If you want to find all my socials, if you go to goldenlassogirl.cards.co. That's a whole thing. That's really hard to say. It's so much harder, but because Twitter's dying. Come on. And I'm here every Friday for our advice show, and that's at 7:30 on Fridays Pacific time. And I will be here every Monday. So thank you so much. Please join us next Monday at 7 p.m. Pacific time for our next session. If you want to catch up on past episodes, you can go to happyjacks.org/unsungtales without the. And if you want to find all of our other APs, which is, we have like over 20 systems now, all after all these years, you can visit the Happy Jacks network at happyjacks.org and find all our old content and current content that's being recorded on other days too. Thank you all so much, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.